This is Retro Sports Radio. Visit RetroSeasons.com for more sports history.
The Oakland A's faced the Cincinnati Reds at Riverfront Stadium for Game 1 of the 1972 World Series on October 14th. This is the NBC broadcast of Game 1, featuring announcers Jim Simpson and Monty Moore.
Patrick Campaneris, just 240 on the season, led the American League, as Monty said, with 52 stolen bases, will step in. For those of you overseas who may not know the story, Cappy was guilty of throwing a bat in the playoffs. The Detroit pitcher Larry McGraw. For that, he was suspended for the rest of the playoffs, reinstated for the World Series, but will miss the first 7 games of next year. But Campaneris makes it go. Nolan ready for the first pitch. Strike at the knee. Now, Nolan is a fine control pitcher. Gary has to be a fine control pitcher. Since he's had arm problems in 68 and 69, he doesn't have the fastball that he usually has. Comes back with a curveball and a place foul outside the third baseline. He's got to make the good pitches. He does have good control. As he said, if he does not make the good pitches, does not have the good controls, then Gary Nolan, he is in trouble. The Reds don't have the reputation of finishing many games, but with the bullpen, Pedro Bourbon, Tom Hall, what a strikeout artist he is, and of course Clay Carroll, who set the record for most saves in the Major League. They go to that bullpen just as soon as needed. They never hesitate. Nolan Young, 24-year-old, born in California, now lives in Cincinnati with a count of 2 strikes to Campaneris, down low, and score 1. No score, Campaneris leading it off in the World Series first game of 1972. Cloudy skies, temperature in the mid-60s. Nolan back with a fastball, and it's hit out to left field between Menke and Concepcion, and Campaneris is off. Well, they talk about the speed and the hustle of the Cincinnati Ball Club, which stole 140 bases this year, as contrasted to the Detroit Tigers, who stole only 17. Well, when you talk about speed and hustle, Campaneris has done his thing. He is on base. And now Gary Nolan and Johnny Bench must be very careful. Joe Rudy, the batter, hit 305. Led the American League in hits with 181. Hit 250 during the playoffs. Right-hander hitter, as is Campaneris. Plays left field up. Looking down to Irv Norris, third base coach for his side. Campaneris is on at first base. We'll check him. Bench knows it. Nolan must keep him close. Bench has got the great arm, but Nolan has to keep him close. Campaneris with a good lead, draws the throw. Not far enough away to have to slide back in. Capacity crowd here with the lights on, and they had standing room only seats this morning. They could have the largest crowd ever at Riverfront Stadium. Nolan is ready, throws the fastball, lays to center field. Bobby told him a couple of steps over his way, rather deep center field, and takes it for the first out. But Campaneris has reached the first. Rudy hitting the first pitch to straightaway center field, and that'll bring up Matty Alou. Alou, brought over from the Cardinals by the A's toward the end of the season, hit 281 for Oakland, but he was hitting better than 300 for St. Louis, and he's got a better than 300 lifetime average. And in the playoffs, Matty Alou simply tore up the Tigers. 381, 4 doubles, stole a base, and had all hitters with 8 hits. This is wide. Defense. Campaneris has now had his 4th hit in a row. He was 3 for 3 in his last game before the bat throwing incident. He has come back after the suspension and has gotten his 4th hit. Alou's swing fouls the ball at the plate. As a matter of fact, it is off the hand of umpire Chris Pellicudis behind the plate. Left hand should be left thumb. Pellicudis bending over behind home plate. 1 ball, 1 strike to Alou, 1 out. Campaneris on at first base. No score. Gary Nolan, big, strong right-hander. Gary's opponent today, the opposite number, is Ken Holtzman. The last time these two met was in the same ballpark last June a year ago, and Holtzman pitched a no-hitter. There goes Campaneris. The ball is hit to right center field. And backing up is Morgan, and has it, and Campaneris is going to be doubled off. Campaneris running did not retreat as the ball was hit. And it may be because he doesn't realize that the infielders here play that far back. A regular infielder, without all his artificial turf, would have been in closer, and that might have dropped in for a Texas League hit. Instead, Morgan was back there in plenty of time and doubled off Campaneris. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and none left. In the middle of the first inning, there's no score. Crushed, wet, broken, lost. That's a match for you. And that's why now there's cricket. The new disposable butane lighter by Gillette. It's light, rugged, and reliable. The cricket lighter is good for thousands of lights, which means it lasts for months. Time time after time, line after light, cricket gets the job done. In midnight black or fire red, it's more than a match for any lighting problem. Cricket, the new disposable butane lighter by Gillette. Only $1.49.
It's a pretty interesting thing how that Gillette Track 2 razor works. It has two blades. They work like this. The first blade comes along and cuts into a whisker and lifts it partway out of its socket. Now, before that little cut-off whisker can snap all the way back, the second blade comes along and can cut the whisker again, even shorter. Now, of course, there's just no way a one-blade razor can do that. That's the Track 2 razor. Gillette made it one blade better.
This is Monty Moore with NBC's Jim Simpson at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, where the Reds are coming to bat for the first time. And Jim, Johnny Bench got a look at what the A's try to do a lot with the Lou at the plate and Campaneris running. They do not have a sign between themselves as to whether or not Campy's going to try to steal, and I don't believe the hit run was on. They do a lot of things on their own. All right, Monty, it'll be Ken Holtzman, 19-11 on the year, to face the switch-hitting Pete Rose, who led the majors in hits this year with 198. 307 is average this year, but that's usual for Pete. The first pitch from Holtzman is outside, ball one. Holtzman does not have an overpowering fastball. He has got an excellent fastball. With the Cubs, when he pitched his no-hitter here, there's a fastball that was a good-looking fastball, and it's a swinging strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. When Kenny was with the Cubs and pitched that no-hitter in June of 1971, he went primarily with the fastball, but he has an excellent curve, good control, and if you're looking curve, he can speak that fastball right back to you. He changes on this one. Short hop by Bando at third base, the throw to Epstein at first, and there's one out in the Cincinnati first of this scoreless game. Epstein at first, Green at second, Campaneris at short, Bando at third, Joe Rudy out in left, George Hendricks replacing the injured Reggie Jackson, who is out for the season and the series in center field. Matty Lou in right, Dean Tennis behind the plate, and Holtzman now will pitch to Joe Morgan. Morgan led the majors in walks with 115, the majors in runs with 122, hits 292. 16 home runs, 73 RBIs, left-handed batter swings and fouls it back to the seat. The key, Monty, as we look ahead, for those who root for the Oakland A's, should be their left-handed pitchers. If Holtzman and Blue can take care of Rose, who's a better hitter from the right side, Morgan is a left-hander, and Colton a left-hander, Oakland's got a whale of a chance. Changed on this, the pitch is down low, it's 1 ball, 1 strike to Joe Morgan. None out, or rather 1 out, and no score in the last of the first. Ready, another off-speed pitch, strike. Jim, we didn't mention it before the game, but the A's are without their top left-handed reliever, Darryl Knowles, who broke a thumb the last couple of weeks of the season, and I'm sure they'll sorely miss him. He can not only get left-handers out, he can hold runners on. 1-2 to Morgan. Left-handed batter picks on this changeup and pulls it way foul, way out in front. Monty, I noticed that Campaneris and Green, as you must do in this artificially turfed park, are playing very deep, as we said, almost short right and left field. Is there any concern, real concern about this field as they came east from Oakland? They were all very anxious about it. We play on only one artificial turf in the American League, and it's not all the way. 1-2 pitch, ground ball, Epstein behind first base, signals to Holtzman. I've got it, steps on first, and there's 2 down in the Cincinnati first inning. Bobby Tolan, 283, another left-hander hitter, 8 home runs, 82 RBIs. Can you imagine pulling your Achilles tendon not once, but then when you come back, doing it again, and then coming back, and you come back here to steal 42 bases? Now, Tolan, like Morgan, having a little foot problem. He jammed his foot. Morgan had to have some shots in his foot during the playoff series. Neither one getting the kind of speed, and they may have it back by now, during the playoffs that they had throughout the season. Johnny Bench was the leading base stealer in the playoffs. Holtzman ready and throws fastball foul back to the screen by Bobby Tolan. Overcast day, and now I don't think I see an empty seat anywhere. As we said, they were selling standing room only. This has been sold out for some time. They are sold out in Oakland for the 3 games, Tuesday, Wednesday, and needed on Thursday. Tolan tries to punt his way on, trying to get Bando back at third base. The crowd is back. 2 strikes to Bobby. Cincinnati, 2-3 in previous World Series play. We said they haven't won since 1940. Very fast, aggressive ball club. Excellent bullpen. Going against a team that Sparky Anderson, who loves his National League shares, is most like a National League team than any other in the American League, the Oakland A's. Ground ball, and it's foul. Glove behind first base, and near first base goes George Sugar by Mike Epstein. Out Alex Gramus, the coach at third base for the Reds, George Sugar over at first base. Holtzman's record against the Reds, and remember he was a long-time pitcher for the Cubs, 8-3. He has been able to control the Reds. 2 strikes to Tolan. Holtzman ready to throw. Left-hander throws, outside corner of the plate, and fouled away that way by Bobby Tolan. Holtzman yesterday, in talking about this club, said, I'm 8-3 against them, but did you know that I've only pitched one complete game against Cincinnati in my career, and that was the no-hitter? And Monty, you know, Gary Nolan, who was on the losing end of that 1-0 ball game, the one run he gave up was unearned. That must have been some pitching duel to see. 2-strike pitch from Holtzman, and this is grounded toward shortstop. Campaneris way back. He needs a long arm to beat Tolan, and does. Just beats him by a step at first base. Now runs, hits the errors. It's on to the first inning here at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati in the World Series. The score, Oakland 0 and Cincinnati 0.
With me in the studio is Peter Barnes, one of the world's fastest talking announcers. He will attempt to tell you all the many features of Delta's total service in less than 1 minute. Ready, Pete? Reservations confirmed in 3 seconds by Delta computer. Instant printing of ticket by computer. Fares quoted are totally accurate. Tickets will be mailed to you if you wish. Curbside baggage taken at airport. No extra charge for golf clubs or other sports equipment. Passenger service agents keep lines short at ticket counters. Comfortable waiting lounges. Covered jetways in most cities let you board your plane in any weather. A great fleet of 180 jets, including the wide-line 747 and next the DC-10. Frequent flights to 99 cities in the Western Hemisphere. Superb meals on breakfast, lunch, and dinner flights. First-rate service every step of the way by the Delta professionals. Speedy baggage delivery when you land. Average time 7 minutes. Delta Dream Vacations at low package price. I see time's up, and you've just begun to cover Delta's total service. Why, you didn't even mention that people can charge their Delta tickets on the American Express Money Card and extend payments for airfare with the American Express Money Card Sign and Fly plan. Well, friends, for more information and reservations, call Delta or your travel agent. Delta is ready when you are.
In Cincinnati for Game 1 of the World Series. This is Monty Moore with Jim Simpson. We were just talking here between innings about the depth of the play of Campy Campaneris, who has one of the strongest arms of any shortstop in baseball. It is really an explosive arm. And it was all he could do to get that ball to first base, throwing from as deep as he was in left field. Jim, and I was just wondering, do National League shortstops play that deep? They play deep, but they charge the ball more, Monty. Campy was waiting for the ball, and especially against the speed of a Bobby Tolan, who also goes from the left side of the plate. You can't wait. You've got to charge, because that ball gets out there quickly, but if you're that deep, it's just as though you're playing in deep, or rather in shallow, and do not charge the ball in the regular field. Here's Mike Epstein, and he takes a slow curve for a strike. Epstein, left-handed hitter, 26 home runs during the regular season. A home run that tied a game at Detroit in the playoffs on Wednesday. And in the cleanup spot with Jackson Ridges. Fastball deep to right field. They carry out there. Geronimo goes back, looks up, and makes the catch against the wall. Gary Nolan's fastball was out and over the plate, and Epstein lined it deep to right field. 330 down each line here, 375 in the power alley, 404 straight away. And those who know say for some reason or another here in Cincinnati, in right center field, the ball seems to carry more. This is pulled to right field. Here's Sal Bando, team captain, third baseman, right-handed hitter. He hits it to right center. Geronimo this time simply drifts back 5 or 6 steps, and they're quickly 2 out in the Oakland second. That'll bring up George Hendrick. As Epstein is batting fourth because of the absence of Reggie Jackson, so George Hendrick is in the lineup, playing center field and batting sixth. 182 during the regular season, not used that often. Right-handed batter, tall, young man, great speed. Takes a curve that bounces in the dirt and away from Johnny Bench and past plate umpire Chris Pelicuda. 0-1. Nolan against Holtzman. No score. Second inning at Riverfront Stadium. Nolan, the right-hander, ready and throws the fastball that's down low. As we said, Gary's the type that has to spot his pitches. If he doesn't make the good pitches, he can be hurt. Tomorrow's pitchers. In a moment. Nolan ready to throw. Fastball is at the knees. Now in the National League, they lean over that inside shoulder of the catcher, and this is a low ball league. In the American League, the umpire leans right over the top of the helmet of the catcher, and he gives you the high strike. Back again, swinging strike. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hendrick made the one-handed, I had it all the way, final put out of the American League playoffs in Detroit on Thursday. 2-2 pitch, throws in the curve. It's down near the dirt outside of the plate. And it's 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. First time we've been to a full count in this World Series. And young George Hendricks, who admittedly is nervous about playing, is facing young Gary Nolan, who comes back with a fastball in that situation. It's too low, and ball 4. That's the first walk of the ball game. The second time the A's have had a man on, and here's Gene Tenace. Gene Tenace won his way into the lineup of the A's with his bat in the late season when Dave Duncan faltered. Tenace went 0 for 15 in the playoffs. Finally, in the final game after being 0 for 15, committing the error that allowed the run that helped beat them in the 10th inning on Wednesday. Fastball is outside, ball 1. And then his fastball allowed Detroit his only run in the final game on Thursday. An error and a fastball, 0 for 15. Tenace stepped up, stroked the base hit that won the pennant for the Oakland A's. 1 ball, no strike. Hendricks was beat off first, and there's a breaking pitch, and he's out in front of it and fouls it off to the left. And nearly in back of home plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jim, it's in a situation here where Dick Williams has wheeled his second baseman in. As I look into the A's dugout, I see Gonzalo Marquez picking out a bat with Dick Green on deck. If Tenace gets on here, Green may not bat his first time at bat in a series game. 1 ball, 1 strike, ready, and throws a curve that stays inside. It's 2-1. What Monty's referring to, he knows the A's so well. And those of you who follow the A's, Dick Williams is liable to use as many as 4 second basemen, starting a man, and as soon as he comes to bat, pinch hitting for him. 2 balls, 1 strike, fastball, deep left field, Rose goes back, looks up, and it is wrong. Home run for Gene Tenace, and it is 2-0, Oakland. Well, I'll tell you this, Monty Moore, Gene Tenace was the goat on Wednesday and early Thursday, but he has been a hero since. Yes, and I'll tell you, Jim, he was hitting the ball very sharply right before the playoff series. It was incredible that he didn't get any base hits, but you saw the series. He hit about 7 line drives that were caught in that playoff series. There's Dick Green, batting for himself, lines the ball to make the third base. And that's it in the Oakland second, but they come up with 2 runs, and Nolan was not getting those good pitches and got hurt. 2 runs on 1 base hit, the home run by Tenace. No errors and none left. We go to the last of the second. Oakland leads Cincinnati 2-0. More than an evening to lady, more than candlelight and small talk, more than just Chipperillo, regular, menthol, and aromatic. There's something about stopping in at McDonald's for a snack in the afternoon or evening. Stopping in for an order of McDonald's fries and a nice and cold Coca-Cola. So after school, after shopping or the game, try it. McDonald's fries and a nice and cold Coke. It's a nice break in your day. A's are leading 2-0 after 2 were out. Gary Nolan lost George Hendrick on a 3-2 count, walking him, and Gene Tenace, who lives in Ohio, only about 110 miles from here in Lucasville, finally won into the left field home run area to give Oakland a 2-0 lead in the top half of the second inning. And Jim, it was really funny watching Tenace around the lobby trying to satisfy all of his relatives and friends with tickets here today. Well, they're happy if he had enough tickets. Here's Johnny Bench to face Kenny Holtzman. Outside and low from Holtzman. Bench, of course, hits that home run. Last of the 9th final game of the Cincinnati Pirate National League playoffs. Tied it up. And the Reds went on to win it. Bench led the National League in home runs and RBIs with 40-125. Down low from Holtzman. 2-0. Well, we were talking, Monty, about the fact that if Holtzman could handle Rose, Morgan, and Poe and keep off the bases, he can pitch around Johnny Bench just a little bit. But the big thing is, Bench is going to get his home runs, keep those other fellows off base. Thus far, he has done it. Swinging foul for third base. For Alex Ramis, the third base coach, will pick it up. 2-0. We are in the last of the second. Out in the bullpen, Wayne Granger, a right-hander, is already up and throwing, and Wayne Simpson, I'm sorry. How could you forget that man? Granger in the American League, but he was here for a long time. I'm talking about Simpson. 2 balls, 1 strike. Fastball is outside, and now it is 3-1 to the dangerous Johnny Bench in this 2-0 game. Bench got a low palm ball from the outside from Dave Justy on Wednesday in the final game and just stroked it in the right field seats. And that fastball, he started toward first base, and Pellicuda says, come on back. 3-2. And Monty, you and I were talking about this before the game. Pellicuda for the National League is one of the slowest draws in Major League Baseball. Sometimes he'll sit there for what seems to be an eternity before he calls the pitch. Bench was on his way, and Chris said, that's the strike. It's 3-2. Comes back in the foul tip. Out of the screen. Still 3-2 to Johnny Bench. What a career this youngster's had out of the great state of Oklahoma. Most valuable player a couple of years ago when the big red machine was really cracking. Fell off last year. Heard the boos of the crowd here in Cincinnati, but that's all changed this year. 40 home runs plus the one that he got that helped him win the pennant. 125 RBIs. 3-2 count. Back with a fastball. Line drive. Pass Bando at third base. Bench on his way around first base. Picked up by Rudy out there. Johnny Bench holds at first base. And the Reds have their first base run in the ball game. Brings up Tony Perez, hitting at 283, 21 home runs, 90 RBIs, but bothered him last week with a bad hand. Hit only 200 in the playoffs. Big, strong, right-handed batter. Now it becomes very clear why you like to keep Rose, Morgan, and Tolan off those bases. Johnny Bench is going to get his base hit. Bench moves off first base as Holtzman throws a fastball on the outside corner to Perez, strike one. Bench, not noted for his speed, nevertheless stole 2 bases to lead the Reds in the playoffs. Epstein holding on at first base. Change on this pitch, and there's a strike on the outside corner. 2 strikes. Holtzman has the excellent curveball. Excellent curve. He'll change, and when you start guessing on him, he'll shoot that fastball right past him. Holtzman staring over at Bench. Throws a fastball at too low and inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, I would imagine, Monty, that to have Dow Maxfield and Matty Alua, the Cardinals, on your ball club, they played here a great deal. It helped a lot, so they gave him some tips. They held their own little conference here yesterday with several of the A's players telling them idiosyncrasies of this park and its team. Ground ball, Bando over, tapped him, and stopped at second base. Back-to-back base hit. Now, here's one of the differences. That ball hit where there would be a skin of the infield in any other park but this one. And when it hits on that artificial turf, it flies. You can't wait for the ball to come up here. It's going to skip on through. And trailing 2-0 as the Reds are, they now have 2 men on base. And Dennis Menke coming up. And Menke takes a long look down to Alex Gravis to see what it is they must do. Sal Bando now walks over to talk to Ken Holtzman. Might be talking about how they're going to play this, should there be a bunt. Jim, the A's have 3 or 4 series on a trick defense for bunt situations. Not a trick, but just sort of a fundamental thing. Many times Bando will charge if they're looking for a bunt, and he always goes over and talks to the pitcher before he gives the sign to the other infielder. Ready to pitch to Menke. High and out of the strike zone. Ball 1. Bench down at second base. Perez on at first. Reds trailing by 2. They are the favorites in this series. The A's would like to prove otherwise. Fastball rides in about the knees. Holtzman looks in. And Holtzman looks at Chris Pellicuda. They have met before. Ken was 8 years with the Cubs in the National League. Last time out, Holtzman pitched 4 innings, allowed 4 hits and a couple of runs against Detroit in the playoffs. Fastball is outside, and he was quickly 3-0 on a pitch away from walking the bases loaded. So Tennis runs out to talk to Kenny Holtzman. Still have Simpson down to the bullpen, and now we see people getting up to go down to the bullpen, and I would imagine without even looking that Raleigh Fingers is going to be one of the first men out of there. He's the man, and ordinarily Raleigh is a late inning reliever, but in the big playoff games and here in the World Series, Dick Williams told him, be ready early, big guy, you may get the call. 3-0, Holtzman will be aiming and taking all the way, and it's a slider on a 3-0 pitch for strike 1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Bando backs up a little bit at third base. Mean to overemphasize his playing field, but it makes a lot of difference. Back with a fastball, and it's foul down for the A's bullpen, and glove down there by Fingers, the pitcher who's warming up. So many things happen on this artificial turf, and especially if you are not used to it, as the A's are not. You're liable to get hurt until you learn. 3-2. Beautiful ballpark, and this thing is just loaded. 2-0, Cincinnati second inning. Here's the pitch. It's down low. Ball four. The bases are loaded. We pause 30 seconds for station identification. KGW Portland. People who don't need it, drink it. Folks got on a diet, try it. You don't have to give up good taste to save on calories. Diet Right Cola tastes so good, everybody likes it. Everybody likes it. Everybody likes it. Everybody likes it. Because it tastes so good. Everybody likes it. In Cincinnati, Ohio, Riverfront Stadium, Jim Simpson with Monty Moore. The bases are loaded. In the last of the second, Benson Perez singled. Mickey has drawn the walk, and here's Cesar Geronimo. Young left-handed hitting right fielder who stroked a home run in the playoffs. Only had 4 all year. Very fast. Nick Williams came out to talk to Kenny Holtzman. Raleigh Figures continues to warm up for the A's in the bullpen. Holtzman stays in. Geronimo left-hander, 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 and the fastball from Holtzman is way high around the cap of Geronimo. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors for the A's, no runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Reds, who are threatening, and there's second. Holtzman right back with the fastball, out to short left field. Campaneris goes back, says he's got it, and holds the runners. And that is a big out for Kenny Holtzman, because now the double play can get the A's out of trouble. And now he's down to the number 8 batter, and Dave Concepcion. A 209 hitter, 2 home runs, 29 RBIs. Jim, here's an indication of how deep the infielders play, even on a double play situation. That ball was fairly out in left field, and the second base umpire called the infield fly rule almost the force. It got past the infield. How many times have you seen an infielder go back to wave off an outfielder? Many times the outfielder is charging in and meeting headway. Campaneris was playing so deep, he was almost in front of Joe Reedy to begin with. Now the bases are loaded. Time has been called for the moment, as Campaneris and Green were discussing what it is they're going to do and how they're going to play it around second base and where they're going to go with the throw. Bases loaded, 1 out, Concepcion in. Holtzman ready, fastball, catches the outside corner. Strike 1 to Concepcion. Nolan, the pitcher, is on deck. With the number 8 and 9 batters up, you can see what a big out the Geronimo pop-up to Campaneris was. Holtzman ready again. Rose takes something off it and flying jump foul. Thank you, Mon. American League umpire third base had to duck out of the way of that. And that again went into the bullpen of the A's and then out into left field, bouncing off the wall down there. Concepcion jumping all over a changeup and was way out in front of him. 2 strikes throw to him. Now you wonder whether Holtzman goes with a good curve. Does he come in with a fastball? Does he kick something off his fastball? Concepcion is ready. He comes in with the fastball and it's line foul to the opposite side. It's cross first base and well up in the feet. Still 2 strikes. Nolan, jacket on deck. And there's 2-0 ball game. Well, we understand we're being heard in Asia in the wee hours of the morning, in Europe, late at night, and of course across the United States on a Saturday afternoon. Fastball, he jammed him, and it's foul back toward us. Still 2 strikes to Concepcion, and Dave is doing a fine job of battling a fine pitcher, 19-game winner, Kenny Holtzman. Holtzman usually doesn't walk too many, less than 2 per ball game, but he walks the bases loaded when he put Menke on, advancing bench to third and Perez down to second. Now he's in around that strike zone all the time with Concepcion and ready to throw again. Comes back with a sinking pitch that's down low, and it's ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Crowd here at Riverfront Stadium, primarily, of course, National Leaguers and Cincinnati Red Rooters. They wouldn't Benson, Perez, and Menke reached if they were in business and could tie up this 2-0 ball game, but at the moment, Holtzman is battling the number 8 batters, and he's got 1 out. Looking double play if he can, or strike out, changes on that, and it just misses outside. In and out of the glove of Dean Tennis, who picks it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Marky Anderson said, well, if we should lose this series, I'm going to give more credit to the American League than I have been given. You know, since 1965, the World Series was alternated between leagues, and 65 was the National League, 66 the American, and so on. And if the pattern continues, Monty, your ball club is in business. It should be the American League years. 2-2, ground ball, high hop to Campaneris. Gets the Green. Green back to first base. Safe. It's 2-1. As Fitz scores from third. Concepcion drives in the first. Cincinnati run. Over the third base goes Perez. A high hopper. Campaneris had to charge in from his spot in short left field to take it on the second out. Go to Green, but by the time Dick got the throw off to first base and the Mike Epstein, Concepcion fast was there, and it's 2-1. Now Gary Nolan is up. The pitcher. And now Bando calls time and walks to talk to Holtzman again. Nolan, as a hitter, throughout the 117, rolled in a couple of runs. Fastball catches the outside corner to Gary Nolan. Strike one. Long run by Gene Tennis in the top of this inning. 2-run homers, but the A's on top, and now the Reds have battled back to get one on 2 base hits, a walk, and in fourth out. Holtzman throws a good fastball, and he's way out in front there. Nolan is. And got around. Holtzman just blew it right by him. 2 strikes. Perez at third. Concepcion on at first base. Now 2 out. Holtzman with a stare in. The check at first base. Set position. Bobs his head a couple of times. There goes the run at first. And this foul tips at the plate. And so Concepcion will have to come back. Turning Concepcion down, testing Gene Tennis, of course, and what kind of play the A's are going to have. Are they going to throw through to second base? Are they going to just keep Mr. Perez there at third base? Make sure he doesn't score. 2 strike count once more. Holtzman throws, foul back, and Concepcion was going again. Jim, as you look out on the field, you can see where a double steal defense would be harder to set up because the shortstop and second baseman are both playing so deep that if that runner breaks, they've got a longer ways to go even to cut off the throw from the catcher than they would on normal turf. They've almost got to run as far to get to the bag, Montiel, as the man at first base does. They're so far deep out in right field and left field. 2 strikes. Here's where Holtzman wants the strikeout. Comes in with a 2-strike pitch and just misses outside. It is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alacutis gave it a long look in the position behind home plate. Perez is just taking a step or 2 off at third base, and Concepcion on the last 2 pitches has been going. He's going again, and swinging and miss, strike 3. 1 run scores on 2 base hits, 2 no errors, and men left at first and third. He's on to the first 2 innings of the 1972 first game of the World Series. Oakland leads Cincinnati 2-1.
Hi, Johnny Bench for Anco windshield wipers. Can you imagine the reaction if a manager told his team that he was supplying them with baseball bats that weren't absolutely the best? Well, your team, that is your family, deserves the best too. Anco windshield wiper blades. If your present wipers are streaking, replace them with Anco wipers. Look for the service station with the bright yellow Anco cabinet. They can snap on new blades while you're gassing up. Tell them you heard about Anco from Johnny Bench.
This year, almost all the new cars are the same. Most of the 1973 models are designed to run on low-octane gasoline, like Gulftane. The owner's manual will say so. Check the recommendation in your owner's manual and try a tank full of Gulftane. It has the performance additive package you'd expect from Gulf, and it costs even less than Gulf regular. So why pay more than you have to? Try Gulftane, the low-cost gasoline for new cars.
More with Jim Simpson at the World Series game number 1 in Cincinnati. And Jim, you know, I think it's interesting to compare the feelings of these 2 teams as they go into this World Series. Cincinnati players say when they went into the World Series in 1970, because it was the first time for them, they were just happy to be there. And they really didn't feel too badly about losing. But they all were saying yesterday, now that we've gone through that, we want to win. The A's, on the other hand, were very happy to be here. And I think they're going through somewhat the same thing Cincinnati did in 1970. Kenny Holtzman of those A's leads it off against Gary Nolan. Nolan's first pitch is a fastball. Well, any pitcher likes to start out any inning throwing to the opposing pitcher because that, in most cases, is near an automatic out. And so that takes off, in case there are base runners, a lot of different plays with 1 out. And here's Campaneris, who led off with a single and then was caught down near second base on an easy little pop fly to Joe Morgan, the second baseman, in short right field for a double play. Campaneris takes the curve on the inside corner, strike one. I mean, that curve started out toward third base and then came down the line and in just under his hands. Good curve thrown by Gary Nolan. Comes back with another curve, but this one is down low and outside, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. A's lead the Reds 2-1. We're in the top of the third at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Campaneris waits for Nolan's pitch. It's a fastball, the first one he's seen him this time at bat. High up under the chin, it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Campaneris, as Monty said, won that base-stealing championship on the last day of the season. Dick Williams put him in. They found out that Davey Nelson of Texas had stolen 3 the night before, so Campaneris went in and swiped some and won it right back. Base hit for Campaneris. They can't keep him off the bases. Same spot, line drive right side, Menchie at third base, and out into short left field. Surprising, Jim, to see him throwing so many curveballs to Campaneris. He's known in the American League as a breaking ball hitter, and Nolan threw him free right then, and Campaneris has hit 2 curveballs for base hits in this game. Campaneris on at first base, and that is his 5th consecutive hit. I think he said last time that was his 5th. He went 3 for 3 in his last game. Now he's 2 for 2 in this game. Last game of the playoffs, first game of the World Series. He is now 5 for his last 5 times at bat. Joe Rudy stepping in now, the right-handed 300 hitter of the A's, hit the first pitch he saw in the first inning and lifted the lazy fly to center field. Rudy steps in, Nolan, the right-hander, working to him, throws him a high fastball, and it's ball 1. With 1 out, Campaneris will keep an eye on him over at first base, where Tony Perez is holding him there. Gary Adair, the coach there, Irv Norn coaching at third base. Rudy has stepped out. Nolan looking in. Gary very seldom finishes the ball game. But that's bullpen of the Reds is something else. With Tom Hall, Clay Kell, and Pedro Bourlon. Ready with a fastball, and he's got him swinging and fouling it at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike to Joe Rudy. Perez at first, Morgan at second, Concepcion at short, Menchie at third, Rose is out at left. Bobby told him the center fielder, Cesar Geronimo in right field, bench the catcher. Now ready to flash the signal to Gary Nolan, the pitcher. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1 the score. Oakland, we're in the top of the third. Nolan with a long look in at bench. Down the stretch. Campaneris is on his way, and he throws him a breaking pitch, and down goes Campaneris out. Bench jumps him down to second base. And I want to tell you, that takes some kind of arm when you throw a change-up curve and have a man that can get the arm to gun down Campaneris at second base. Put the tag on it. 2 out. Rudy's still at bat. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. Big play right there in this 2-1 ball game, taking Campaneris off the bases. Gary Nolan ready, throws the fastball, ground ball to Menchie at third base, takes it on the second out, throw over to first base, and the Reds are out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. We go to the last of the third. Cincinnati trails Oakland 2-1.
Gillette makes a better double edge now than the one your father used. The smoothest edge we can put on a blade, but the smoothest shave we can put on your face. The Platinum Plus blade. And someday, Gillette will make even a better blade for your son. The more things change, the more they stay the same. We made the first blade, and we're still the first blade. Gillette. Platinum Plus. Marty Schmidt, Wethead. Marty Schmidt, the dry luck. Mike Baffolco, Wethead. Mike Baffolco, the dry luck.
People do seem to notice an improvement when a guy switches to the dry look, the aerosol hair control from Gillette. You should try it if you haven't already. Comes regular or extra hold.
Joe LaMarca, Wethead. Joe LaMarca, the dry look.
The dry look from Gillette.
The Oakland A's Dixieland Band, the Swingers, are here in Cincinnati. Decked out in Kelly green and gold, and would you believe it, they're getting a hand from the fans on the Cincinnati side of the field as they play. They're that good. He Rose leads it off in the last of the third inning. The Reds have trailed 2-1. Rose bounced to Bando, first time up. Switch hitter, batting right-handed, of course, against Ken Holtzman. We made a point of saying that we believe that the A's are to stay in this series and upset the odds. Holtzman and Vida Blue, the other left-hander, are going to have to do the job. First pitch is down low. Not to say the right-handers don't have to be effective, too, but if the left-handers can control, Rose is better from the left side. Morgan and total left-handed swingers have got a great chance. Foul at the plate. Kenneth chases it down behind home plate. Now it gives Huff on it and lets it roll back toward the screen. On ball, 1 strike to Rose. He's led everybody in most base hits in the playoffs. 450 average against that Pirates pitching staff. 307 on the year, and we told you he led the majors in hits with 198. At the count of 1-1. Born, raised, grew up, and now plays in Cincinnati. High bouncer, Bando, third base, has to wait for it to come down, guns it on to first base, and just does have him. It's on that artificial turf, and it took a hop. That Bando couldn't do anything about it. He simply had to wait for it to come down. When it did, he threw out Pete Rose. Here's Joe Morgan, back in the first inning, grounded to Epstein at first base. Morgan is the man that I'm sure the Oakland scouting reports say, as everybody does, this is the man you got to keep off the bases. 58 stolen bases, second only to Lou Brock of St. Louis, who had 63. 122 runs, 115 walks, and there's a strike to him. Run by Holtzman. Strike one to Joe Morgan. Morgan's batting average in the playoffs against the Pirates is 263. Doesn't sound like much, right? But he scored 5 times. He gets on and scores. The strike one pitch is fouled off to the left, down the line, and in the seats. 2 strikes to Morgan. There has been activity in both bullpens. Wayne Simpson throwing for Cincinnati, Raleigh Fingers for the A's, and both bullpens are quiet now. 2 strike pitch to Morgan, and it's fouled out of play again. Cincinnati has a better run-and-loss record against left-handers than against righties. They operate on left-handers, and 2 of the important men in Dick Williams' pitching plans are left-handers. Holtzman is pitching today, and Vida Blue, who will probably pitch the 4th game back in Oakland. 2 strike pitch from Holtzman. Throws the fastball down low, lined out to left field. In comes Joe Rudy and takes it. 2 out in the Cincinnati 3rd. Rudy made a great diving catch of a foul ball up in the Detroit game in the playoff series. Showed himself to be a complete baseball player. He can field, and he can hit. Bobby Tolan grounded to Campaneris, and remember that play back in the first inning? Campaneris was so deep he did not charge the ball, and with as great an arm as Campy has, he just did get Tolan, the speedster, at first base. Tolan, left-handed batter, holds the bat very high. First pitch to it. Hits it off the pitch, fouls it off. Bando may have a play on it over near the Oakland dugout, and then hits on the roof and bounds into the seats. They're trying to make this some kind of series, Monty. They're calling, one writer calls your Oakland team the Oakland Hares. For those of you who may not know what we mean, they had a mustache-throwing day out in Oakland. The owner paying $200 to every player that grew a mustache, and 99% of them grew them and still have them. Depicting them as the ball players used to be back in the gay 90s. Ground ball fouled on the first base line, gloved by Epstein there. And so they're trying to make this the Maud Young Oakland team against, quote, the straight Cincinnati team, which does not have the flamboyant uniforms that the A's have. They're red and white and look much like they did 20 years ago, and no mustaches or long hair on the Cincinnati team. So they're having a lot of fun with that. A 2-strike pitch is thrown to Tolan, line drive. Campaneris times his leap, but it's over. Out, good glove. Base hit to Bobby Tolan, and that brings up Johnny Bench. Third base hit, given up by Holtzman. Bench has one of them back in the second inning. 2 out of the Cincinnati 3rd. A's 2, Reds 1. First game of the World Series. Bench worked the count to 3-2 last time, and then lined the fastball, and Campaneris has almost gone to the wall in left field. That's an exaggeration. He is very deep at shortstop. If Tolan decides to dash down to second base, attempting to steal, and he stole 42 bases, Green and Campaneris have a long way to go to get there. He's leaning one way, high fastball, and they tell me, at least the scouting report, that when Tolan leans toward second base, he's not going. If he leans back towards first base, it's a habit, he may be going. Last time, he was leaning towards second. Let's see what he's doing here on the ball 1 count, and they got him picked off. Down to second base to play, and he is out at second base. The throw went from Holtzman, left team down the green, and they picked off Bobby Tolan. He simply had to run it out. And so now he is off the bases, and the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. At the end of 3, Oakland 2, Cincinnati 1.
Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference. In Chrysler Corporation cars. 4, 3, 2, 1. Began in outer space is now right down to Earth. Chrysler Corporation, the automotive company that helped put the first American in space, now put some of the things it learned into its cars. Step into the start of the new age of automotive electronics. Electronic ignition, for up to 35% more starting voltage than conventional systems. Now standard on all Chrysler Corporation cars built in this country. Electronic voltage regulator to help increase battery life. Electronic digital clock available in some models. So accurate you can set your watch by it. Electronics. It makes a difference in Dodge, Chrysler, and Plymouth. Discover the difference. Drive one.
This is Monty Moore with Jim Simpson at World Series game number 1. Oakland is leading 2-1. We've talked a lot about the speed of these two teams. We've had 2 attempted steals already, and they are both been shot down. And when you talk about speed on a ball club, I think, Jim, you're talking about more than the stolen bases. You're talking about what showed up here in the first run that Cincinnati scored. A man fast enough to beat out a double play ball. That's his team speed other than stolen bases.
All right, Monty, here is Matty Alou, who popped up into a double play, believe it or not, back in the first inning. Morgan backed up, took it, and got Campanellis, who was on his way, left-handed batter, and he swings at a breaking pitch, strike one. Like statistics, I think nearly every baseball game, and especially the World Series, always filled with statistics. Hear this. The team that has won the first game of any World Series has gone on to win the World Series 40 times. The team that has lost the first game of the World Series has only won 28 times in the 68 previous World Series. Fastball, and that's foul at plate. Ross Grimsley goes tomorrow. That is official, a left-hander against a fine right-handed pitcher, won more than 20 games, Catfish Hunter of the Oakland A's. That's tomorrow's matchup. 2 strikes now to Alou. President of the Baseball Writers Association of America is Max Nichols of the Minneapolis Star. He is the chief scorer here. Earl Lawson of the Cincinnati Post, representing Cincinnati, and Ron Bergman of the Oakland Tribune. They're the 3 scorers for this 1972 World Series. 2 strikes to count to Alou. Back with a fastball, and he fouls it to the screen. 1 still 0-2 to Alou. In the second inning, Oakland's George Hendrick walked on the 3-2 pitch, and Gene Tennis hit a fastball for the first World Series home run of this year to make it 2-0. And then in the bottom of the second, Cincinnati came back. There's a fastball. Not only high in the air, pulls it down, and throws very low, but it's there to Perez at first base. 1 down. Cincinnati got its run for the second on singles by Bench and Perez and Menke's walk, and then Concepcion grounded into a force play, and Bench scored the only Cincinnati run from third base. Mike Epstein, last time up, lined the ball deep to the right field fence where Geronimo went back to the fence and took it, about 370 feet away. Epstein has power with those 26 home runs during the regular season. Left-handed batter facing the right-handed Gary Nolan. Nolan ready to throw, and the pitch is in under the hands, inside, ball 1.
Jim, his big bat really takes on importance now that Jackson is out. It might mean they could pitch around him in certain spots now.
Fastball is fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, when you consider that final game of the playoff series, Epstein was hit on the hand by a pitch, trying to get out of the way of a high inside pitch, and for a while we thought he was out. And then, just moments later, Reggie Jackson sliding home, full hamstring muscles in his leg. There's a ground ball to the left side. There is Menke, and throws Epstein out. And of course, Jackson was out, and Epstein was able to stay on and play. Kind of a check swing ground ball to the left side by Epstein, and Menke pitched a slow hopper on the second hop and easily threw him out. Sal Bando, last time up, went with the pitch, the first pitch, and flied to right field. For the second time in this 2-1 ball game, the A's lead here in the top of the 4th, and there's a big lollipop curve that misses at ball 1. Nolan has good control, pretty good fastball, not like it used to be before he had arm problems. Comes back with the fastball and popped up to the right side. Joe Morgan is there. Now Morgan is way out in right center field, but that's where the second baseman plays. Has it, and the run hits Perez. On left, in the middle of the 4th inning, it's still Oakland 2 and Cincinnati 1.
My dear, I remember when traveling to Florida was an absolute delight. Oh, we were treated like royalty, believe me. At the airport, a skycap ran to the curb and checked in our luggage. As we strolled off the ticket counter, a man in a red jacket directed us to the gate. And we never spent a minute waiting in line. Our jet was a wide ride 747. Oh, my dear, the seats were the lust of luxury. And the food. Oh, my God, I just went by the board. We had the most charming stewardess, too. I mean, truly professional. Oh, darling, the flight was all too short. And you know, our luggage actually beat us to the claims area. My trip to Florida was such a joy. Was that a long time ago, Grandma? Just last month, my dear, when Grandpa took me to Miami on Delta Airlines.
Enjoy Delta's total service on your next trip. Charge your Delta tickets on the American Express Money Card. You can even extend payment for your airfare on the American Express Money Card Sign and Fly plan. Delta is ready when you are.
Cincinnati Reds big guy Johnny Bench will lead off the fourth inning against Kenny Holtzman. Holtzman and Nolan are a lot alike. They're both considered control pitchers, and they say, Jim, that once a control pitcher who depends so much on it gets out of the early innings and doesn't get hurt too badly, though there are a lot of line drives hit, they ordinarily find the mound and the rhythm and become tough later on. Johnny Bench had the bat taken right out of his hands in the third inning when Nolan was picked off first base. Right, he was on his way, and Holtzman threw over there to Epstein, who gunned it down to Green to put the tag on him, and Johnny just had to go put the gear on. He's up again now to lead off the fourth. He's 1 for 1 and has scored the only Cincinnati run. First pitch is outside ball one. Back with the fastball. It's up high, and it's 2-0 to Bench. Marky Anderson, prejudice could be right. Calls Johnny Bench the greatest baseball player in America today. 2-0. Consider that he is not yet in his mid-20s. What a ball player is going to be. Pitch is outside, and it is 3-0. Holtzman has had some control problems. He went to 3-2 on Bench in the second before giving up the line drive, and Mankey carried him to 3-1 and then walked. He hasn't walked that many, and this is a fastball. Bench again striding toward first base. Alacuda says, stay here. That's 3 balls, 1 strike. Now you know that Bench is going to be looking for his pitch. Holtzman knows it, is ready to throw it. Another strike, and again, Bench was on his way. There's that slow call I was telling you about, Monty. It's like a videotape replay, slow motion. Alacuda, very slow, very deliberate, makes up his mind, and then lets us know. 3-2 to Bench. He had a 3-2 pitch last time and singled and popped this one up foul behind home plate. 3-2. Last of the fourth of the first World Series game of 1972. Both teams coming in mostly drained from their playoff with the Detroit Tigers and the Pittsburgh Pirates. The adrenaline is flowing again now as we begin the series. Back with a 3-2 pitch, and that's ball 4. Tennis sort of at strike 3. Bench draws the walk, and that is the second walk given up by Holtzman. And here comes Tony Perez, who lined the single left field last time up after Bench had singled. A's 2, Reds 1. Reds got as far as third base and stopped right there as pitcher Gary Nolan struck out to end the Cincinnati second. Holtzman ready, throws, line drive under the glove of Dick Green, the second baseman. Bench on his way around the second base. Takes it up. The throw in by Matty Alou to second base. Runners at the corners, first and third, with run out, and Mankey again coming up. Run at third base. Raleigh Fingers is up and on his way out to the bullpen again for the Oakland A's. Second time he's warmed up. Mankey walked on the 3-1 pitch last time. That was a line drive, and as deep as Green was, racing to his right behind the bag, it still got under his glove. On out to right center field, where Alou picked it up and fired it into the cutoff man Green. Bench heading for third all the way. Mankey rounds the first ball toward Campaneris. To second base. Back to first base, not in time. Bench scores, tie ball game. Well, the Reds will take him any way they can get him. Bench digging for third, set up for the second time, and infield force play, scoring a Cincinnati run. And now it's 2-2. Mankey's on at first base. 1 out. Geronimo, who pops up to Campaneris, is the batter. That was back in the Cincinnati second. Fastball is fouled off to the left, and I believe it'll make the seats come back Sal Bando as he pursues it. It's at least a dozen rows deep. Well, Monty Moore, the second half of this ball game, apparently you're going to have quite some ball game. Maybe we'll be right back like we were in the playoffs. Never know to the final out. Sometimes not then, not until the 10th inning. One strike to Geronimo. Olsen now taking the long look. Pitching, there goes the runner, ground ball. Green had left, comes back to get it, goes on to first base, has Geronimo, but Mankey's down at second base. Green was almost caught out of position as Mankey was running on the pitch. Here's a scouting report, Jim, just came into effect. The left-handed batter up, the second baseman of the A's was still going to cover second base. We pause 30 seconds for station identification.
KGW Portland. Electricity performs many minor miracles in your home. It even gives you a box seat at the World Series. How would you like to know how to avoid wasting this valuable resource? Portland General Electric's new 12-page booklet called The Watt Watcher's Guide can show you. It's filled with energy-saving tips you can use in every room of your house. Contact your nearest PGE office for your free Watt Watcher's Guide today. You'll save energy and money. Electricity does so many good things for you. You don't want to waste it.
With Monty Moore, this is Jim Simpson back in Cincinnati. Dick Williams, the manager, just visited the mound, and they have decided to put Concepcion on first base, which is open as Mankey was running on the pitch. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Gary Nolan. And of course, the Reds fans are not going to like that, but that is just goes down as smart and obvious baseball. First base open. Mankey down at second base. Concepcion really did a fine job of battling Holtzman back in the second. He had a two-strike count to him. Fouled off a lot of pitches, then took a couple, and then bounced to Campanella at the shortstop, scoring a run. There's ball four, and Concepcion draws the intentional walk, and here comes Gary Nolan, the pitcher who is now in a 2-2 ball game, and in a position to untie this game here in the Cincinnati fourth. Olsen walking around the back of the mound, now strides up onto the mound. He struck out Nolan swinging last time. Nolan, as we said, a fair hitter. That's as he throws, right-handed. Mankey leads off at second. Concepcion at first. Fastball fouled off. Upstairs to our right. Strike one. Nolan was taking a pretty good risk, but didn't get the bat around against the Holtzman fastball and fouled it off to the right. A's 2, Reds 2. Back with another fastball. It is too low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tennis blocks the ball, pops out of his glove, stays in front of it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Little murmur from the fans. That ball was inside and near the seat of Gary Nolan. 1-1. Olsen ready. Fly ball right field down the line, curving toward the foul territory and makes it in the seat. And about the first or second row foul. Concepcion cuts back across the diamond. Mankey drops from third back to second base. Again, it was the Holtzman fastball. Again, Nolan did not get around on it, but this time it was nearly disastrous for the A's. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Nolan. He steps back in and takes the practice swing. Holtzman steps on the mound. Peers in to Dean Tennis, the catcher, who hit a 2-run homer for the Reds, for the A's 2 runs. Fastball again fouled off to the right, and Holtzman is simply up there challenging Gary Nolan. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Raleigh Fingers is still throwing. Right-hander down in the bullpen for the Oakland A's. Mankey strides 2, 3, 4, 5 away from second base. Holtzman ready. Changes on this one, and so now on the changeup, Nolan is way out in front of it and fouls it the other way down the third base line. Pretty generally speaking, and this is a generality only, if it's a breaking pitch that a batter is fooled on, he's going to pull it foul. If it's a fastball that he's fooled on or can't get the batter out on, it'll go the other way, away from him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chips something off this, the curve, change up, gets him, and it's 1 run on 1 base hit, no errors, and Mankey left at second, Concepcion on at first. At the end of 4, we've got a tie ball game. Oakland 2 and Cincinnati 2.
Hi, Johnny Bench for Amco Windshield Wipers. I wonder how many listeners remember the good old days before night games. As darkness fell, you could hardly see who was on first. Something like driving in a rainstorm with old streaky windshield wipers, which is the leadoff urging you to retire those old streakers and switch to new Amco wiper blades. Get them next time you gas up. The exact blades for your model car are in the bright yellow Amco cabinet you see in service stations everywhere.
That's Anco wiper blades by Anderson. This year, the turtle has a harder shell than ever. The only thing that gets through is sunlight, Mama. But with a cream car wax, the turtle goes on easy and stays on hard. New improved turtle wax. Anything else is mock turtle.
Monty Moore with Jim Simpson in Cincinnati, where we have a tied-up World Series game at 2-2. The Reds got it by scratching and running. The A's got it on one big swing of the bat by Gene Kenneth. Both these pitchers are known as control-type pitchers. Nolan walked less than 2 for 9 innings. Holtzman walked less than 2 for 9 innings for the year. Yet the walks in this tension-packed ball game have hurt both of them. Nolan walked George Hendrick ahead of Gene Kenneth's home run. To start the 4th inning, Ken Holtzman walked Johnny Bench, and it led to a big run. So even though you don't walk many, those you walk sometimes come back to haunt you. Once again, here's Jim. Thanks, Monty. George Hendrick, as you said, did walk back in the 2nd inning, and Kenneth followed with a line drive home run off the Nolan fastball, and Nolan now struck Hendrick out with a big curve, and George swings and misses, strike one. Hendrick in there again, for those of you who may be listening. Not heard Reggie Jackson injured in the playoffs, and so Hendrick is there. Bouncing ball up the middle. Morgan charges second base. Goes sidearm, and he's out. The ball bounced up to Perez. Morgan had to make a throw, and Dick Williams is racing out across the diamond and says, no, sir, he wasn't. But Jim Honachek, of the American League, by the way, said he is out. And so is Dick Williams out to argue with Jim Honachek, now in his 6th World Series. Jerry Adair is there. Morgan had to make quite a play coming in. Williams kicks at the bag, and now it goes back. Well, at least I can tell you, Marty, if you get the thumb, the last time a manager was thrown out of a World Series, that was Earl Weaver in 1969 against the Mets, because nobody could remember after that. Or at that time, who was the last one. Now I am looking at the television replay, and as I see the ball come over, it is, well, I can't tell. It's that close. It's that close. Now we'll look again as they're doing a double replay from a different angle. Ball is down in the bag, and either way. Which proves, Jim, that even if the umpires had videotape replays, they couldn't always tell. I couldn't. Not on that one. Here's Kenneth hits a 2-run home run and takes the pitch for a strike. They are on the top of the 5th at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. It is 2-2 in Game 1 of the World Series. Nolan throws in a curve, and he lines it down the line very deep inside the flagpole, and it is a home run. Gene Kenneth, who went 0 for 15 and then won the playoff game against Detroit, hit a home run in the 2nd inning off a fastball, hit a hanging Gary Nolan curve, and has lined his 2nd home run in 2 times at bat in his 1st World Series. Jim Simpson, that's the first time in Gene Kenneth's Major League career he's ever hit 2 home runs in one ball game. And that was a much different type than he hit on the other one. The other a line drive, this one was a hanger. It is 3-2. Well, Kenneth doesn't care whether it's the fastball or the curve. He's lined both of them out of here. Here's Dick Green. Hits the first pitch, pops it up. Morgan goes back. Geronimo and Tolan come in, and Morgan now points to Tolan, who takes it for the 2nd out. And that'll bring up Ken Holtzman. Holtzman here at 178 this year, 6 RBIs, fair hitting pitcher. 158 lifetime average. Right now he looks back at his catcher, Gene Kenneth, and just smiles. Nolan is ready to throw to Holtzman, low and away, it's ball 1. Well, when you consider, Monty, that we got to repeat it. Let's wait for this pitch. Deep left field. Rose backing on the ball and has it. And I'll talk about my thoughts about Gene Kenneth again in a moment. But 1 run on the 10th home run. That was the only hit. No errors, none left. We go now to the last of the 5th inning. And Oakland leads Cincinnati 3-2.
Well, you heard about that Gillette Track 2, the 2-bladed razor, and you probably said, why should I shell out money for another razor? That's a good question. Here's a good reason. Because that track, too, will give you a combination of closeness and safety that you just cannot get with a one-blade razor, no matter how many you have in your medicine chest. That's why. The Track 2 razor, Gillette made it one blade better.
For quite a while now, these World Series broadcasts have been brought to you in part by Right Guard Antiperspirant, the one that really helps you keep dry when the action's hot. Now this year, Right Guard is pleased to introduce a brand new antiperspirant, Right Guard Natural Scent. It's got the same great wetness fighter as regular Right Guard, and it's got a great new scent made from natural ingredients so it smells light and clean, not heavy or artificial like a lot of other antiperspirants. New Right Guard Natural Scent Antiperspirant. You'll like the way it works, and the new natural way it smells. Well, I'm going to finish now my comments about Gene Tennis for those of you who may not know the drama. His error, forced to play second base in the 10th inning, helped Detroit win that exciting fourth game of the American League playoffs on Wednesday. And then his pass ball in the final game of the American League playoffs helped Detroit score its only run of that ball game. He was 0 for 15 at bat. He came back and stroked the winning single, his first hit in the playoff game. Now he comes on down here to Cincinnati. It's a 2-run homer in the second, another home run to break a tie in the fifth. It's 3-2, and Tennis is the first man to hit 2 runs, home runs in a series game since Rico Petrocelli of Boston did it back in 1967. And strangely enough, the manager in 1967 of Boston when Petrocelli did it, the Tennis's manager, Dick Williams. To the last of the fifth we go. Let's call in the voice of the Oakland A's. Gotta be happy a little bit now, Monty Moore. Absolutely, Jim. Just to be here, but especially with the A's on top, of course. It's 3-2, and here is Mr. Hustle of Cincinnati, Pete Rose. Twice Holtzman is in distance, the ground out to Sal Bando. The first pitch is right down the middle of called strike. Holtzman and Nolan are both around the plate a lot. And with pitchers like that, you ordinarily see a lot of base hits in a game. So far, we've seen 8 hits in the first 4.5 innings of this one. There's a high fly ball in a deep center field. Easy riding George Hendricks goes back. He's right at the 404 sign, and he makes the catch. In watching George Hendricks, you just wonder if he ever really gets fired up. He is so relaxed on the field, wherever you see him, in the press, in the hotel lobby, the players call him easy. And you can see why. You watch him go after the last ball of the last out of the 1972 American League season in Detroit, a long drive by Tony Taylor, and George just casually went back and picked it off and ran into the dugout. Incidentally, he gave that last game ball to Dick Williams. 1 out in the fifth, and here's little Joe Morgan. Third ball in the dirt, it's ball 1. They tell us Morgan switched with his arm. He has his left arm sticking right straight up. And he switches it down a couple of 3 times when he goes to the plate as a reminder to himself to keep the arm up where he was taught by Harry Walker to keep it. Swinging strike on a good breaking ball. Something else about that, Monty. Joe says, I normally twitch it once or twice. If I do it more than that, you know I'm nervous. 1 ball and 1 strike. Holtzman wide. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball hit on the ground, foul off of first base. And I can see how these coaches respect the speed of a ball coming off the artificial turf. The first base coach, Scherger, is 15 feet behind the regular coaching box down the first base line with Morgan up there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dick Green, the A's second baseman, is playing a softball type short right field. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Tennis drops the ball, picks it up, throws the first for the out. There are 2 down here in the 5th inning. Well, Kenny Holtzman's job starting this game, he told us, was to keep Rose, Morgan, and Tolan off the bases. He has kept Rose off 3 times, Morgan off 3 times. Tolan has been on 1 out of 2. And I think, Jim, it's very indicative why he said that. This year, Rose was on base 278 times, Morgan 282 times, and Tolan 220 times ahead of Johnny Bench. Bench led the league in RBIs, and with that kind of artillery on in front of him, you can understand why. Here's the pitch to Tolan. He tries to bunt. He misses. That's strike. Now, Monty, I have the opportunity to work throughout the year with Sandy Koufax, and Sandy says, look, if Johnny Bench or Hank Aaron, they're going to get their hits. What you do is keep the men in front of them off the bases if you can. Holtzman has done an excellent job of that here today so far. Here's the pitch. High fly ball, deep left field. Joe Riddy's going back. Still going back. He's got room and he picks it off. Just in front of the warning track. We've gone through 5 innings of Game 1 of the World Series, and the score is Oakland 3, Cincinnati 2.
Let me tell you about some products I sell very proudly. Chryslers and Plymouths. You know why I love them? They're constantly striving to make stronger cars, safer cars, better cars that run better than any they have ever built. They all have something in common, too. Engineering care. It goes into every Chrysler and every Plymouth. That new mid-size satellite Sebring Plus, for instance. That's some car. And they tell me the new Chrysler is the quietest Chrysler ever. And the new Plymouth Fury. Wow, there's a beautiful car. And part of the beauty of it is the way it fights rust and corrosion with all sorts of rust preventatives. See these new Chryslers and Plymouths at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer, won't you?
Chrysler Plymouth. Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference. Hello again, wherever you are listening to our broadcast from Cincinnati, where the score is 3-2 Oakland. In the second inning, George Hendrick drew a walk, and then Dean Tennis lined a fastball for a home run, and the Reds were quickly down 2-0. But in their half, Johnny Bench led off with a single, Perez single, Menke walked, the bases were loaded, Concepcion grounded out with one out, and Bench scored from third base. That was the only run for the Reds. Then the Reds tied it up in the fourth when Holtzman walked the leadoff batter Johnny Bench. Perez singled him on to third base, and again on an infield out, Bench scored his second run, and that tied it at 2-2. That sets the stage for at least the middle innings for Arts, because this game is far from over. And Gary Nolan hung a curveball, and Dean Tennis hit a high fly ball deep to left field, inside the foul pole down the left field line for his second home run. He hit as many times as that. The first time in 5 years that any World Series player hit 2 home runs in one game. And now, as we go to the sixth inning for Oakland, it is 3-2. The A's lead the Reds. And in the sixth, it's the top of the batting order. And they have not been able to keep Campy Campaneris off base since coming back from his suspension in the game in which he was 3 for 3. Campaneris has twice lined singles to left field. The Oakland sixth, they've got a run lead, and here's Monty.
Okay, Jim, Campaneris is called the Roadrunner by Oakland fans. When he comes to the plate out there, they have a big $1 million message scoreboard that says beep beep on it, and this little guy has excited fans for a long time in the American League. Nolan's first pitch to him is a back ball, and it's in there for a call, strike after me. Dennis Menke plays very shallow at third base for Campaneris, inside the bag, much as you would see third baseman in the American League playing on the regular grass infield. Nolan throws way outside a ball, and I just wonder how many men can bunt well enough in the National League on this artificial turf to bunt for base hits very often. They do it quite frequently. Strangely enough, Bobby Tolan, Joe Morgan, Pete Rose on occasion. You really have to kill that ball out there. The pitch is outside a ball, and it's 2-1 to Campaneris. So Campaneris is one of the smaller players in the American League. At only 5 feet 9 inches tall, he probably receives a smaller percentage of walks than just about any player around. 2-1 pitch, and a leaping grab by Dennis Menke at third, playing shallow. Wow, what a play by Menke. Campy Campaneris picks on a low pitch and rips it at the third baseman Menke, and only because he is 6 feet 2 inches tall was he able to get that one. He utilized every inch of arm, Jim. Campaneris is out number 1 here in the sixth inning. A smash line drive to third. That might loosen Menke up a little bit the next time Campaneris comes up. Here now is Joe Rudy, who also bunts for base hits quite often, and Menke is playing him shallow. The pitch from Nolan is low and outside, ball 1. Nolan has actually been hit pretty hard here this afternoon. Several line drives have been caught. Mike Epstein hit one to the wall in right. Campaneris just ripped one. Dick Green hit one to Menke, who has really been playing the hot corner today. 1-0 pitch to the curve in the dirt out in front of the plate. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Johnny Bench showed what great hands he has on that little pickup. It was a spinning curveball with top spin on it out in front of the plate about 3 feet, and he just very calmly reached out and backhanded the ball one hand. They say his hands are so big he can put 7 baseballs in the palm of them. Here's the pitch. Outside the ball, it's 3-0. Showing a lot of respect for Joe Rudy's strength to hit the ball to right field, the Reds are playing him deep and over to the right, giving him about 90 feet of the left field foul line. Rudy hit 19 home runs for the A's this year. 3-0 pitch. He takes a look at it, and it's right through the middle of the call, strike 3-1. Joe Rudy is considered to be the most steady player the A's have. He led the outfield in assists, throwing out 9 runners this season, 5 of them at home plate. 3-1 pitch. Swing a high drive to right field. It is pretty deep, but it won't go out. Geronimo back about 8 steps, tapping under it and makes the captain or 2 away. And now Ball is 2 out in the 6th inning, and Oakland leading 3-2 over Cincinnati in Game 1 of the 1972 World Series. Here is a man that the A's in a short time came to respect as a bat magician. He has done more things with the bat and hitting the ball to the opposite field and running the ball different ways. He's run it for base hits to the shortstop. He's run the ball in the air over the third baseman. Takes the curve down and in, ball 1. Matty Alou, one of 3 Alou brothers playing in the major leagues. The second to have played for the A's since they've been in Oakland. The first being Felipe. Fastball fouled off. Matty is not known as a home run hitter, but in about the 3rd game he played for Oakland after coming over from St. Louis late in the season, he ripped a home run out of the Oakland Coliseum. And in the playoffs in Detroit, he showed that he has power by hitting the wall 380 feet away and left center field to knock in a big run. Nolan's 1-1 pitch. Fastball is a little low, 2-1. Gene Tennis has hit 2 what modern-day ball players call long taters here today. Home run. 2-1 pitch is outside. Nolan seemed to let up on that one a little bit, and he is begging Fella to. He almost ran to the plate begging for a strike on that one. Gary Nolan is home at Oroville, California. Throws, and the ball is fouled off by Matty into the upper deck of this beautiful stadium right downtown in Cincinnati. The players will take home mighty good checks from this World Series because both stadiums seat over 50,000 and most stadiums will be filled for the first 4 games. There's a ball in the dirt as Nolan misses damage, comes all the way to the backstop, and Matty Alou runs to first, Finch chasing the ball, but Matty won't challenge that great arm. Finch had the ball in his hand at the backstop, 60 feet behind home plate. But Matty Alou holds on at first. And now here's Mike Epstein with the second walk that has been given up by Gary Nolan. The last one he issued to George Hendrick, and Gene Tennis hit a home run right behind him. Mike Epstein, a big left-handed batter who was born in the shadows of the Yankee Stadium in the Bronx of New York. Played football at the University of California, signed a big bonus contract with the Baltimore Oriole organization. Never really got to play there because they had a guy bigger than he was named Blue Powell. He went to Washington, and the A's picked him up in quite a trade last year, and he has been quite a find. Playing against both left and right-handers this year, he's done an outstanding job. Swings on a breaking ball, misses, strike 1. Mike not only has a mustache, as do many of the A's players, but he has grown his to the extent that it connects with his sideburns down the side of his face. Alou leading away from first base. Nolan pitches. Epstein swings through a fastball, missing, strike 2. Both these clubs went through a fantastic series, and I guess you could call it baseball's finest hour, 1972. For the first time since the playoff trial of determining an American League National League champion was put in, both playoffs went the full 5 games. Epstein bounced one foul off first base. No balls, 2 strikes. The Reds had to go 5 games to defeat Pittsburgh, and the A's had to go 5 games, 2 of which went extra innings to defeat the Detroit Tigers. Nolan takes the sign from Johnny Bench, and here's the pitch. Outside of all, he's taking something off that pitch to the outside part of the plate. In this big stadium, the players' names really go up in lights big, like about 4 feet high letters suspended from the center field upper deck. Epstein is swung on and hit hard to the right side, out in the short right field. The second baseman is up with it, throwing to first for the out. So here in the 6th inning, the A's don't get any runs or hits. They leave a man on, and in the middle of the 6th, the score is Oakland 3, Cincinnati 2. Along with Monty Moore, Jim Simpson in Cincinnati, we go to the last of the 6th inning, and here comes that man again. Johnny Bench led off the second with a single, later scored on an infield out. Then worked Ken Holtzman for a walk in the 4th, later scored on an infield out in this 3-2 ball game. And Bench's arm is so great that he lost the ball when Alou walked way behind him, 50, 60 feet behind him.
Lou, looking over his shoulder, decided even though John didn't know where the ball was, he wasn't going to try for second base. Bench stepped in, and here's Monty. Johnny Bench has taken on a different image here in Cincinnati with his 2 stolen bases in the playoffs. Here's the pitch, and it's outside the ball. And here in this game, he has been a leadoff man in 2 different innings. And he's turned a single into a run in the second, a walk into a run in the fourth. The A's would much rather see him as a leadoff man, though, with nobody on. There's a drive hit deep to right field. Way back. That ball is at the wall. It's off the fence. Matty Alou plays it. Throws the ball into second. Bench is on his way with a stand-up double. Ken Holtzman made a high outside pitch to Johnny Bench, and he really went with it to the right field wall on the fly. And they tell me that Bench doesn't hit the ball to right field very much. He hits a home run in the playoffs to right, and now he gets a leadoff double. And the A's bullpen becomes active. And look who one of them is. Vida Blue. Just day before yesterday, Vida pitched 4 innings in relief to nail down the American League Championship against Detroit. Right next to him is a big right-hander named Raleigh Fingers. And Dick Williams is going to the mound. He might make a change right here. Out in the Cincinnati bullpen, they're warming up Pedro Barbon. We pause 30 seconds for station identification.
KGW Portland. It's like a box seat at the World Series. Maybe even better. It gives you close-up sporting action on your Zenith Color TV. Hurry to Smith Home Furnishings for this World Series special. Zenith 16-inch diagonal laser chroma color portable TV for only $328. Features easy carry handle, automatic fine-tuning, and tint control. Built-in antenna, plus Zenith's famous chroma color picture tube for only $328. Now at Smith Home Furnishings, Southeast Cities and Division. Smith, open weeknights till 9, Saturday till 6.
The importance of this first game of the World Series that can give you the impetus to go on, and almost 2-1, the team that has won that first game has gone on to win the World Series, and so we have made some changes. Kenny Holtzman, who has worked 5 innings plus the leadoff double to Johnny Bench, who went the other way to right field, is now gone. Holtzman, responsible for 2 runs, both of them earned, 5 hits, could be responsible for bench city score, struck out 3 and walked 3. And Raleigh Fingers has come on. Fingers, throughout the regular season, ran on average of 2.51. And just a fine pitcher. 21 saves, which led the stats. In the playoff games, Fingers appeared in 3 out of the 5 games there and came out of it with an earned run average of 1.69. Big, tall right-hander, and he's got the little extra curly to his mustache. He's got one of those flowing mustaches. Nearly all of the A's have. And he'll be facing, as he comes up, Tony Perez, whom Kenny Holtzman could not get out. And that's the reason why, one of the reasons why, Dick Williams went to his bullpen in a hurry. Bench, the tying run down at second, nobody out in the 6th. Perez comes to bat, Monty. Raleigh Fingers made 2 incredible saves for the A's in the playoff series. In game number 1 in the top half of the 9th inning, Detroit got runners at first and third and nobody out. And Fingers stopped them without a run. And then in Detroit, in the 9th inning of another game, they got runners at first and third and 1 out and did not score. But this is the World Series, his first ever appearance, and the pitch to Tony Perez. A curve is in there, a tall strike. Raleigh's big pitch actually is a slider. He throws it off the sidearm motion to right-handers alike. But he can also come right over the top. A big, loose-jointed guy, the ideal makeup for a relief pitcher. He doesn't get very rattled. 0-1 pitch. Curve swung on and missed back to Perez. Missed that one a mile. Dale Cheney is up in the Cincinnati bullpen area, loosening up his arm as he might come in for Concepcion with the right-handed pitcher on the mound. But Williams has a left-hander throwing in the bullpen. 0-2 pitch. Fastball foul off Perez, a good right-side hitter. Took a shot to right field on that one. His job here is to try to move Johnny Bench over. Oakland is leading 3-2 in the last half of inning number 6. The A's play Perez straight away. Fingers kicks that white shoe in the air, throws a curve, and strikes out Perez. That ball really broke. Fingers strikes out the first man he faces, and here now is Dennis Menke. Menke walked in the 2nd inning. He hit a ground ball in the 4th. With 2 on in double play position, however, the A's could not turn the double play because of the high hopper, and he knocked in a run for Cincinnati to tie the ball game. Johnny Bench at second as he almost tore the right field wall down here with a double off Holtzman. Fingers pitch. Outside a ball.
Neither club really scored big in the playoffs. But both are very explosive fast clubs. Really turned into a very pleasant day here. Sunshine breaking through once in a while. Well pitch. Minky takes it, and he gets away from Tennis, but not very far. The runner holds on at second. Gino reached across his body, down and away. The backhand that ball, and it popped out of the net. The count at 2 balls and no strikes. Bob Locker has joined Vida Blue in the Oakland bullpen. Pedro Bourbon is still throwing for Cincinnati. In case they got down to Gary Nolan's spot in the batting order, Sparky Anderson would probably make a change. Fingers pitch. Strike letter high. 2-1 now. And a time called by the umpires on the right side of the field. There's a ball out of the bullpen in Cincinnati that rolled down onto the playing surface behind home plate. Johnny Bench off the dirt part of the pass out at second. Ground ball fouled into the Oakland dugout. Dennis Menke now is a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Bonnie in the dugout, Joe Haig is put on a batting helmet, so he may be seen as a replacement for Concepcion if it goes that far here in the Cincinnati Six.
Fingers at the belt. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike 3. He left Menke up there, and Raleigh Fingers, whom the A's call the Cucamonga Kid, has come out of that bullpen to strike out the 2-man space. Now with Geronimo due to bat, Dick Williams is going to the mound, and we'll see if he's going to make a change here. Raleigh ordinarily pitches against both left and right-handers. It has not made a whole lot of difference to him, but Dick might be going to talk with him here about how he pitches to this man. And then again, he might make a change. These managers have had thorough scouting reports, Jim, from scouts who followed each of these clubs through the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, would you say that? I'm thinking Concepcion. That's the man that I would deal at Joe Haig with bat for. Geronimo, a pretty good hitter, hit a home run in the playoffs, but you never do know. If Williams does go to make the change, maybe he's going to bat for Geronimo. But we'll see. Williams still out there talking, and apparently Raleigh Fingers is going to stay, and he's made no move at all to go off the diamond. He is standing down the rubber. Now Tennis breaks back toward home plate. Mando strides over to third. Dick Williams has a couple of extra things to say, and then he walks off, and Geronimo, who's over 2 steps in. 2 out, and a curveball. You're talking about the slider of Raleigh Fingers. He has struck out both Perez and Menke on good-looking curveballs. Down in the Oakland dugout, there's an interesting thing. Reggie Jackson, the injured center fielder with a cast on his leg, is in civilian clothes, and Cincinnati gave him permission to be in the dugout. I was just wondering a minute ago if the last A's player to be in the dugout in civilian clothes, or last A's man, might have been Connie Mack. First pitch to Geronimo is a fastball swung on and missed, strike 1. They say back in the early days of the A's that Connie Mack managed in street clothes. That's the early days. I was around when I was
Raleigh Fingers ready to pitch. Curveball, and it's dropped right in there. Called strike. It's 0-2 now. Johnny Bench led off the inning with a line drive double to right. Raleigh Fingers on in relief has struck out Perez and Menke, and he's 0-2 on Geronimo. Left-handed batter ready at the plate. Fingers pitch. Fouled off. Geronimo, just trying to get a piece of that ball, was swinging late. Another injured player is in the dugout with a cast on, but he is in uniform. That's Darrell Knowles. Of course, not eligible to play, nor able to play, but he has a broken thumb. The A's ace left-handed reliever. 2-strike count on Geronimo. Fingers over the top of the fastball. It's line to left, and Joe Rudy comes in and picks it off about head high. Out of the bullpen, Raleigh Fingers did quite a job to keep a lead for Oakland. The score as we go to the 7th. The A's 3, the Reds 2.
Hi, Johnny Bench, not catching, but pitching for Amco windshield wipers. Do you know who holds the Major League record for most strikeouts? Brace yourself. It is Mickey Mantle with 1,710. Of course, Mickey also hit 536 home runs, which makes up for those strikeouts. That's where batters differ from windshield wipers. Wipers should bat 1,000 every time.
In bad weather, snow or rain, your life or your family's life may depend on them. If your wipers are streaking or blurring, they're striking out, and you had better bring on some new heavy hitters, like a new set of ANCO windshield wiper blades, and you'll see the difference the first time they come up for action. ANCO blades are made of pure rubber, and they're engineered especially for your car's windshield. You can get ANCO blades or refills at most service stations everywhere. Just look for the bright yellow ANCO service cabinet. It holds a complete lineup of ANCO wipers for every car. The imports, too. But be sure you're getting ANCO windshield wipers. The Big League blade by Anderson.
Well, we have a pitching team. Gary Nolan is gone after working a total of 6 innings, giving up 3 runs, and all of them directly attributable to the 2 home runs by Gene Kenneth. He allowed 4 base hits, 2 of them, of course, were homers. He struck out nobody, and he walked 2. And Pedro Borbon, one of the fine relief pitchers, says, come on, this has been the pattern of Clarkie Anderson this Reds. During the regular season as a reliever, Borbon won 8, lost 3, earned on average of 3.17. But he does have a sinking fastball, Monty, and if he's on, you'll see a lot of ground balls. 7th, and here's Monty.
Al Bando leads it off, and the first pitch is a sinker, and it hits the dirt. Ball 1. The A's have seen very little of Borbon. They saw some of him when he was with the California Angels in the American League. He never pitched much for that club. He throws, and it's missing inside. He's what a lot of players, I believe, would call kind of a short armor out there, throwing the ball. He doesn't take a big wind-up. He doesn't take the arm back very far. He's just right on top of you, and pop, here it is. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Endo hits a sharp grounder to the deep second baseman. Up with it is Morgan. He throws the first for the out. Baseball is really a different game on this artificial turf. I can't get over it. There's been about 4 balls hit already that would be easy base hits on regular turf because of the position of the infielders. That have been easy outs. 1 out in the 7th, and now here's George Hendrick. Curveball, and it's in there. Called strike. Hendrick started to go and did not. Gene Kenneth. On deck, he has swung a big bat for the A's today, hitting 2 home runs. Fastball swung on and fouled off. Pitch, no balls, 2 strikes. For game 2 tomorrow, it'll be Jim Capley Hunter, a 21-game winner for the Oakland A's, and Ross Grimsley, who won 14 for Cincinnati. Curve in the dirt, a wasted pitch. It's 1 and 2 to Hendrick. Hendrick has good power, and he can hit the ball out either way. He gets 2 home runs for the A's to win games on consecutive days against Chicago and Texas this year. There's a fly ball, foul, into the seats, over behind the Reds dugout on the first base side. After the game tomorrow, these teams will wing to the West Coast, to the Oakland Coliseum. Hendrick fouls another ball over the screen, coming back this way. The Bay Area has never had a World Championship professional team of any kind. And Charlie Finley's fondest hopes are to bring a World Championship to the Bay Area for the first time. Hendrick passes one deep behind third, but it goes foul. Cincinnati has 5 hits. Oakland has 4. Is scheduled about second in the last half of the 7th for Cincinnati, so they may go some more to the bullpen. 1 and 2 pitches, a curve hanging too high, ball 2. Fastball inside and high to Hendrick. He bailed out, but the ball hit the bat and goes foul. Foul upstairs. Hendrick is giving him a back. With a count 2-2, Borbon works to the plate again. And again, Hendrick tries to get out of the way of an inside high fastball, and it hit his bat while still on his shoulder. Hangs on at 2 and 2.
pitch. Curve way outside. A ball, 3-2. Hendrick is really looking him over here today. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's hit right up the middle, knocked down by the pitcher. Takes his time, throws to first for the second out of the 7th inning. And now here comes Gene Pettis, who has hit 2 home runs in the game, accounting for all Oakland runs. The A's have 3 runs on 4 hits. They have made no errors. Cincinnati has 2 runs on 5 hits. They played airless baseball. These clubs are both outstanding defensively. So you don't look for a lot of miscues in this series. The pitch to Pettis, playing a check swing bouncing ball to deep short. Coming in for the ball is Concepcion. He throws it out. Bourbon cuts Oakland down 1-2-3 in the 7th. The score, Oakland 3, Cincinnati 2.
Flair, 49 cents. Bless you like the way you feel. Flair, right hungry. Flair, happy. 49 cents, very, very small. Flair, or 10 feet tall. Flair is different. No ballpoint, no pinpoint. Flair has a smooth, tough nylon tip that stays sharp. Flair, 49 cents. Flair.
Hey, are you one of those guys who turns into a roughneck every morning? Does shaving leave your neck rough and irritated? If it does, let me tell you about a special kind of Gillette Foamy. Face Saver, specially made for you roughnecks. Face Saver has 25% more lubricant than any other foamy shave cream. A better protection against shaving irritation, even on the most sensitive part of your face, your neck. So if shaving irritates your neck, get Foamy Face Saver for the roughneck. They go down to the last of the 7th inning. Concepcion will lead it off against Raleigh Fingers. There's action in the bullpen, which means that Pedro Bourbon, who is known for that sinker ball and got Mando, Hendrick, and Dennis all to hit the ball on the ground, may have had it. They have pitched only that 1 inning. And guess who is in the bullpen? A fellow by the name of Clay Carroll, who over the years, as far as saves are concerned, did nothing more than set a major league record with 37 saves. Action, here's Marty. Raleigh Fingers' first pitch today is Concepcion as a fastball hitter high for a strike. Now the big guy winds. Here's the pitch. Missed with a curve inside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. The largest crowd ever to see a baseball game at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. 52,918 here today. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Sidearm hook is right in there, called strike. Joe Haig is out on deck swinging a bat for Cincinnati. Concepcion the batter. He knocked in the first Cincinnati run with a grounder on the infield in the 2nd inning. Fingers big leg kick. Fastball misses inside. It's 2-2. Cincinnati Reds, National League champion. The pitch inside. Fingers misses ball 3, and this is the guy he doesn't want to lose. Ordinarily, Sparky Anderson will have a left-handed batting Darrell Cheney in there. Concepcion going out and batting to start the 7th inning. And Fingers got 2 quick strikes. He's now gone to 3-2. Here is the 3-2 pitch. Line drive, left field, base hit, and Anderson pays off. Concepcion lines a shot into left field, a hit to start the inning and putting the tying runner on base. Now here's Joe Haig. Coming on the pinch hit. He had a .243 batting average this year with 7 homers and 31 runs batted in. Now they're going to go with Uhlaender now. So Uhlaender comes out with a bat. He is a .159 hitter, but an excellent putter. He played with the Minnesota Twins in the American League and also with the Cleveland Indians. He is not a long ball threat. He has not hit a homer. He's played in only 73 games for Cincinnati this year. So they may go to the top right here with Uhlaender. He is hitting for Bourbon. The A's bullpen up and throwing again. Bob Locker, a right-hander. Ida Blue, a left-hander. Clay Carroll in the Cincinnati pen. He will be coming on. Concepcion leads off first base. Now
Ralph Albendo, the A's third baseman, is asking for sunglasses. That denotes the change in weather here. Still kind of a cloudy day, but Sal doesn't want to take any chances. Off first base. Fingers on the stretch. Here's the pitch. Elander bumps the ball to the first base side. Picked up at the catcher and foul ground. They got to try it over. It's Oakland 3 and Cincinnati 2. Marky Anderson, who had Cheney up in the last inning with a batting helmet on and a bat in his hand to pinch hit for Concepcion. If they got down that far, decided to go ahead with his shortstop against the side-arming right-hander Raleigh Fingers. And on a 3-2 count, he ripped it into left. That's the move I'm sure the newspaper men will be swarming down on Anderson to talk about after this ball game. Could turn out to be a big one. Elander at the plate, cocks the bat. There goes the runner. The pitch is a pitch out. Throw to second base is... He is out at second. The throw by Gene Tennis was the bat held high at second. We held up because the umpire held up. Mel Steiner, National League umpire at second base, called that play. Campaneris caught the ball pretty high. Concepcion slid flat. And they're running the replay over here for us to take a look at. And he looks as if he got him, Jim. Now the next batter, Elander, is up, and he takes inside a ball at 2-1. The A's outguessing the Cincinnati Reds. And a pitch out on and nails Concepcion trying to steal. Now the 2-1 pitch. Strike call, a burning fastball through there. Ed Elander with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Fingers pitch, curve is just missing outside at 3-2, and Riley's picking very carefully here. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed strike 3, and he threw that one right by. So there are 2 down now here in the 7th inning, and the batter is Pete Rose. Fingers has struck out 3 of the 5 that he's faced. Fingers' walk and strikeout ratio this year in the American League was incredible. He walked only 32 and struck out 113. Now here's Pete Rose batting left-handed. He's a switcher. Going right-handed against Kenny Holtzman, he went 0 for 3. Fingers' pitch is outside of ball. And as Jim said earlier in the broadcast, Rose is a better hitter batting left-handed. Seems to bat out of a much deeper crouch from the left side of the plate than the other way. Very busy with that bat. Pitch to him, a fastball is low. It's 2-0. Rose, the only player in the National League ever to make an All-Star team as a second baseman and as an outfielder. He made it both ways. Now the 2-0 pitch. Inside, ball 3. Fingers has been at ball 3 counts on all 3 batters here in the 7th inning. Oakland leading Cincinnati 3-2 in the first game of the 72 World Series. Ball 4, Rose walks on 4 straight. Dick Williams is going to the mound. As the left-hander, Joe Morgan, is due to bat here. And left-hander Kenny Holtzman stopped this guy 3 times in the game. On a ground out, a fly to left, and a strikeout. Well, Jim, what kind of face-stealing threat is Pete Rose? Does he run as much as the other guys?
Oh, yeah. But of course, Rose is not known as Joe Morgan is with his 58 and Bobby Golden is with his 42. But Rose is, of course, is known for his hustle more than anything else. But he is known to steal a base or 2. He's stolen 10 this year. 10 out of 13, fine ratio. I'm wondering if Ida Blue comes in now, Monty. Blue expected to go in the 4th game, and of course Dick Williams can always change that around. He wants this first game so importantly that his 4th game starting pitcher, Ida Blue. who had that great finishing 4 innings up in Detroit on Thursday afternoon. To help his pitcher, Blue Moon Odom, step down the target to win the American League Championship. Blue, listed as a starting pitcher, has come back in relief. The Raleigh Fingers goes, coming on with Bench in the 6th inning on second base on a double off Kenny Holtzman. Struck out 2 of the 3 men he got out of the inning. Concepcion went off with a single here. He was out stealing. Eulander struck out, but when suddenly Pete Rose switched around to the left side, Fingers couldn't find the plate and walked Pete on 4 straight pitches. That brings on Vida Blue to face the very dangerous Joe Morgan, who was 0 for 3. And all 3 times Joe was batting, he was batting against another left-hander, Kenny Holtzman. Jim, I was talking with Dick Williams before the game today, and he had not really made up his mind whether or not Blue would pitch the 3rd game or the 4th game, and I think this really dictates that he will pitch that 4th game, and with the day off for travel between here and the West Coast, I think Braddock, even with hard work here today, can be able to come back. The big factor that has been a surprising one for the A's followers in this last couple of weeks of the season is the fact that Vida Blue has been able to come out of that bullpen after being a starter all his career. And he did it 2 days in a row in the playoffs. And pitched 4 innings the second day. Well, he's doing it, but he's also making no bones about it. He wants to be a starter. He said, no question about it, I want to be a starter, I want to start. But he did nail things down for Blue Moon Odom. And now he hopes to nail things down and keep things going for Kenny Holtzman. 3-2 the score. We have 2 out in the Cincinnati 7th. In other words, the Reds are running out of time. They got a man on base, but this is the way they love to operate, hitting and running a very aggressive ball club, and Morgan helps make them go. Vida did not get a start in the playoffs because of his last 8 starts. In the regular season, he won only 1 ball game. That was the 2-hitter against Texas. And mainly he was put in the bullpen because Darrell Knowles, our ace left-handed reliever, broke his thumb while falling down at the plate after hitting a ball to left field. Pete Rose jumps off first base now with a good lead. Vida down to the belt. Here's the first pitch, and it's a fastball blazing in there for strike 1. I'm sure you'll agree that Vida's the hardest throw on your staff, and they've got one like him over in the Cincinnati dugout, and that's Don Gullet, who's scheduled to pitch later on. These are the hardest throwing, and he's got one of them on the mound right now. Vida Blue. He gets set. Here's the pitch. And it gets away from the catcher. Goes all the way to the backstop. Rose goes to second base. Well, it looked as if it went right through the legs of Gene Kennett. It could be a big play. It's a wild pitch on Vida Blue, moving the tying runner in the scoring position. So now his work has really compounded in degree of difficulty. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Morgan. Bouncing ball foul, and he just tried to hit that ball on the ground out past the mound as deep as Campaneris is playing at shortstop. He would really have to do some charging if Morgan were to bounce that ball on a high hopper past the mound. Because Morgan can fly. Ironic twist is Morgan lives in Oakland in the offseason and is in business out there and was really hoping to play Oakland in the World Series. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pete Rose at second. Oakland leading 3-2. 2 down, 7th inning. Vida pitch. Outside of all, it's 2-2. Blue doesn't throw sidearm, but once in a while he's dropped down near 3/4 against left-handed batters. Now Vida gets set. Checks Rose at second. Here's the pitch. Fouled off. Looks like a breaking ball. Hamilton, a young left-hander, has joined veteran Bob Locker, a right-hander, in the Oakland bullpen. Blake Farrell has already completed his work in the Cincinnati pen. He will be coming on for the 8th inning against Oakland. The score of that 8th inning will depend upon what Vida Blue can do right here with Joe Morgan. Around comes the arm, the pitch of the curve. He missed with it, ball 3. Gene Kennett is still holding the mid at the plate. The Oakland bench is on. Chris Pellicudis on that call. Morgan had really been fooled on the pitch. He was not looking for a breaking ball on a 2-2 count. But now it is full at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Pete Rose a few strides off second base. Vida Blue gets set, kicks the leg, fires, fouled off, and Morgan is hanging tough in there. He's not taking a big swing. He just wants a base hit here.
both managers shooting the works in game number 1 here as if it were game number 7. But this is the World Series, and that's the way they play them. Ryder turns and fluffs the runner back into second base. He gives the rollover sign indicating to Gene Tennis's catcher he would like the signs all over again. Now the young lefty set. Here's the pitch. Walked him, ball 4. So the Reds now have 2 runners on and 2 out, and here is Bobby Tolan. Blue ordinarily has excellent control. He walks very few. For the season, he walked only 48, struck out 111. And he's put a runner on now. Here's a pitch to Tolan. Fouled off, strike 1. One thing I've noticed, Jim, these left-handed batters for Cincinnati hang in there tough against the left-handers.
Bonnie Sparky Anderson often says, if you look down Rose, Morgan, and Tolan in the box score, and you see a combination of 5 hits among them, we're going to win the ball game. There's only been 1 hit among them thus far, but of course, Rose and Morgan have both walked here in the 7th, and that's the trouble.
Tying runner out at second base, lead runner at first, a pitch to Tolan, a bouncing ball right side of the infield. It is a foul ball. Very close to the bag at first base. So now batter has jumped on top of Tolan at no balls, 2 strikes, and Mike Epstein, who fielded that ball in foul ground behind the bag at first, walks all the way to the mound to hand it to Vida Blue, who had broken off the pitching mound towards first base. A normal move for all pitchers on a ball hit to the right side. A 1-run lead for the Swingin' A's of Oakland over the Big Red Machine of Cincinnati. 2 strikes the count. Tolan carries that bat very high over his left shoulder. Now drops it down. Here's a pitch. Fly ball foul out of play off the third base line. The Reds have had 6 hits. The A's have had 4. The difference in the game, the bat of Gene Tennis, which has produced 2 home runs into the left field seats. Pete Rose at second base, Joe Morgan at first. Vida Blue at the belt. Holding, firing, just missed outside ball 1. Oh, there are some close pitches on the outside of that plate here in this inning.
Well, it happens in the National League, Monty. They lean over that inside shoulder, and that outside pitch has been the bane of many batters' existence. And pitches.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Vida sets and throws a curve that's fouled off. Tolan had about a half swing at that ball. Really interesting, not having been in the National League and watching batters swing and how they change their swing, just trying to hit the balls down onto this artificial turf to get the high bounce. Matty Alou does it, even on the regular turf, because he got in the habit over here. Count 1 and 2, the pitch. High pop foul ball behind the plate. Gene Tennis is coming back. The offensive hero makes the catch, and Vida Blue gets out of the jail here in the 7th inning. After 7 innings of play in the first game of the World Series, it's Oakland 3, Cincinnati 2.
That's a long name, but it's a beauty. Chrysler Plymouth made me a drawing to show what's new about it besides looks. I showed it to you on TV. Did you see it? The drawing shows Sebring's new quiet exhaust system. There's a completely re-engineered suspension system up front. Rides as quietly as can be. And the new sound barriers in the roof, in the doors, around the wheels, all over the car. Under the hood, even behind the back seat. It's the quietest satellite ever built. Built to be seen, not heard. You'll like it.
Plymouth Satellite. Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference.
We've lost 30 seconds for station identification.
KGW Portland. When you think of great football authorities, who do you think of? Howard Cosell? Richard M. Nixon? Well, most people put their money on Jimmy the Greek. The king of the Las Vegas odds makers will be back in the Oregonian again this fall. Twice a week, Jimmy will predict the outcome and the point spreads for all the major college and professional football games. Call the Oregonian at 226-2121 and have Jimmy the Greek delivered to your door.
The Cincinnati Reds have a new pitcher, and the Oakland A's are going to have a pinch hitter. The new pitcher for Cincinnati is the Major League's top reliever in history as far as number of saves recorded in 1 year. An incredible 37-game save for Cincinnati's Clay Carroll, a right-hander who throws hard. The pinch hitter for Oakland is Gonzalo Marquez. He ended the season hitting .381 for the A's as a pinch hitter, basically, and he had 2 big hits in the playoffs. Here's the first pitch. Swing and a fly ball to left field, out behind shortstop, out in front of the left fielder, but the shortstop, Concepcion, makes the grab. 1 out on 1 pitch. And now Vida Blue will bat. Vida, without any question of a doubt, is a much better pitcher than he is a hitter. Hasn't done much with the bat this year. He's had 2 hits and 45 at bats. A pitch to him, swing and a bouncer foul off first. A tough competitor. Last year's Cy Young Award winner in the American League. The most valuable player in the league. Pitch outside a ball from Carroll. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Vida had contract difficulties this year. Did not play for the Oakland A's and pitch a game until May 24th. Really, he was not in shape to pitch until the middle of June. Pitch it outside the ball, it's 2-1. Ball 3, and Clay Carroll has gone to 3-1 on Vida Blue, one of only 9 Major League pitchers to ever strike out more than 300 batters in one season. 3-1 pitch. Strike 2 call. Vida slid around facing the bunt. There's the next pitch, and it's out of the strike zone. Ball 4. Wade Carroll has issued a walk to Vida Blue. That's only the 3rd Oakland batter to be walked in the game. The starting Clay Carroll, Monty, he's it's almost a cliche of being a good stopper, a good relief pitcher. Fastball slider, likes to keep the ball low. Clay Carroll's problem there was he only got 1 pitch down low, and the rest were riding high and out of the strike zone. And that's put him in trouble with Campaneris, the very dangerous Campaneris, coming to bat. So Vida Blue's on his first base, and he runs well enough. He's a big guy, but he runs well enough that the A's have used him as a pinch runner before. Oakland, in carrying the theme of team speed along a little farther, has used 2 of their pitchers as pinch runners. John Odom is one of the fastest runners in the Major League. Now Vida's off first. Here's the pitch to Cappy Campaneris. He bumped the ball out towards the mound. Carroll is up with it. Only 1 play, and that's the first. Morgan covering. They get him there, and Cappy really deadened that ball beautifully. So they're 2 down, and it's up to Joe Rudy if the A's are to pick up another run here. Oakland is leading Cincinnati 3-2. So far, in his first World Series game ever, Joe Rudy has been held without a hit. He's flagged to center, he is rounded to third, and flagged to right. Carroll was the most effective Cincinnati pitcher in the 1970 World Series. In 4 games, he pitched 9 innings and did not give up a run. Only 5 hits, and he struck out 11 batters while walking only 2. So his World Series record right now is unblemished. It will remain that way if he can get Joe Rudy. Vida Blue at second base. Here's the pitch to Rudy. Spiked in the outside corner. Rudy doesn't take that pitch very often. Right now, the Cincinnati second baseman is playing a good 50 feet deep in right field. The shortstop is playing a good 35 to 40 feet behind what normally would be the running path between second and third. Carroll sets. Here's the pitch to Rudy, low and outside of all. Matty Alou of the A's was telling us yesterday he didn't like baseball on this turf, not because of the balls that shoot on the ground quickly between the infielders, but because you lose so many line drive hits by the second baseman and shortstop playing this deep. And I really see what he's talking about. Carroll pitching to Rudy. Third ball hit deep to left field, but he didn't get all of it. And Pete Rose goes over to Gondrick. He makes the catch, and that's all for Oakland. In the 8th inning, the score remains 3-2, the A's.
This is Milo Hamilton. I call the play-by-play for the Atlanta Braves, and I do the radio commercials for Delta, the official airline of the Braves. When I talk about Delta, well, I speak from experience. Last month, I flew more than 16,000 miles on Delta. It was a rugged schedule, but the Delta people made it as smooth as anyone could ask for.
Delta is an airline run by professionals, 24,000 professionals. Each highly skilled individual knows his job and gives it his best. That goes for the reservationist who confirms your space by Deltamatic computer in 3 seconds, right onto the baggage handler who delivers your bags in an average time of 7 minutes after you land. It's what Delta calls total service. I'd like to recommend Delta Airlines to you. And I have one other suggestion for people who travel, the American Express Money Card. You can even extend payment for your Delta tickets on the Sign and Fly plan. You're always ready to go with an American Express Money Card. And Delta is ready when you are.
Nearly all of the Oakland pitchers run out to the mound to start their pitching assignments, and Vita Blue has dashed to the mound. And when he gets there, and he has gotten there, he sees what his job is. Johnny Bench leading off for the 4th time. Bench has singled, walked, and doubled as the leadoff man, and has scored the only 2 runs in this 3-2 ball game which Oakland leads. The only 2 runs for the Reds, of course. We're in the last of the 8th, and this could be the last big chance for the Reds. The heart of the batting order, Bench, Perez, and Menke. Blue is ready, and so is Monty Moore. Very few times in the course of any Oklahoman's life would they not be thinking about an Oklahoma-Texas football game on a day like today. Here's Johnny Bench hitting the first pitch high and deep to right. Matty Lou's backing up to get under it. He has got lots of room, and he makes the catch. So there's one away. Well, we started to say about Oklahoma and Johnny Bench before the game today. He said, I'll think about Oklahoma-Texas football after the first game of the World Series. One away, say to you, Club. We two Okies were talking before the game. Here's Perez with one away in the 8th. Vita Blue cranks it up and fires. Up high, ball 1. Incidentally, Bench hit a home run off Vita Blue in an All-Star game. The one played in Detroit. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Perez fouls one off just below our boots. Joe Garagiola is just over to our right, and he made a... Was that a bluff, or was he really going to catch it? 1 ball and 1 strike to Perez. He won an All-Star game for the National League with a home run off an A's pitcher, Catfish Hunter in Anaheim. Swinging strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Perez. It's the 8th inning, first game of the World Series. Oakland leading 3-2 over the highly favored Cincinnati Reds. Now the 1-2 pitch. High, ball 2. Slender Tommy Hall, a left-hander, out in the bullpen for Cincinnati. And Darrell Cheney is throwing along with Foster. They're loosening up. Final 2-2 pitch. The Blue Blazer was fouled off. Gene Tennis giving the sign, and here's the pitch. Curved him in this high with it, ball 3. Batters unusually wild here this afternoon. Very rarely does he get behind batters or at this 3-2 count. It might be very well because he pitched so much in the last week. 4 innings day before yesterday. 3-2 pitch on the way. Foul ball upstairs. Jim, over in Tiger Stadium, when you pitch 4 innings with a 1-run lead, every pitch you make has got to be a big one. And that's what Vita had to do to hold that championship game. Full count pitch is on the way to the plate. They drive to center field. Back goes George Hendrick. He has room, reaches up and makes the catch. And there are 2 away in the 8th. Perez hit that one right on the button. Third baseman Dennis Menke. Menke is walked, knocked in a run on a ground out, and struck out. Cincinnati leads in hits 6-4, but the A's lead in the game 3-2. Vita taking a long time to get his sign. Now he has it. Throws a slow curve, and he drops it in there. Strike. Another breaking ball. Strike 2, only this one was thrown much harder. Vita will throw the slow curve once in a while. That time he threw what looks like a hard slider. Ahead of the
batter at 1 and 2. He throws, and there's no doubt what that one was. Kleiner threw it as hard as he can throw it. But he missed inside 2 and 2, and Menke pulled the ripcord and bailed out of there. Kleiner holds the baseball in a blue-colored glove, kicks and fires, fouled off. Menke hit 9 home runs for Cincinnati this year. He had a good year. Though he batted only .233, he knocked in 50 runs. Part of the big trade with the Houston Astros. It also brought Morgan and Geronimo here. Now the 2-2 pitch. Swinging strike 3. Vida left him up there with some real smoke. After 8 innings of play, the score is the Oakland A's 3, the Cincinnati Reds 2.
This is Johnny Bench for Amco Windshield Wipers with a private word to all the service station men who display the bright yellow Amco Windshield Wiper service cabinet. Your customers will appreciate it when you give them the right pitch on streaking wiper blades, especially those with hidden wipers. Just ask them if their wipers are streaking, and if they say yes, tell them you can replace them with fresh new Amco wiper blades while you're filling their gas tank. Amco blades will help see them home safe.
One of the most important parts of every new car is made of paper, the owner's manual. This year, the owner's manuals for almost all the new cars are recommending a low-octane gasoline, like Gulf Tank. What they don't tell you is that Gulf Tank costs even less than Gulf Regular, and it has the performance additive package you'd expect from Gulf. Check your owner's manual and try a tank full of Gulf Tank, the low-cost gasoline for new cars.
From Cincinnati, Jim Simpson with Monty Moore. It is 3-2. We are now in the top of the 9th inning. Clay Carroll on the mound. 3-2 the score. And it's very simple for the A's. George Hendrick in the second walked and scored ahead of the home run by Gene Tennis. Johnny Bench scored both runs for the Reds on infield outs. And then Tennis broke the tie with a home run off Gary Nolan in the fifth. It's 3-2. We're in the 9th, and here's Monty.
Okay, Jim, Matty Alou leads it off. The first pitch of the curveball bounced to the second baseman who was not playing deep this time. Morgan throws to Perez, and there's one out on one pitch in the top half of the 9th inning. Matty Alou, who's been known to drag a bunt past the mound, drew Morgan, the second baseman, in very shallow that time. Now Morgan will move all the way back out into right field as the second baseman, as here comes Mike Epstein. Mike ripped one to the wall in the second inning as a leadoff man. Geronimo fielded right off the fence. Leading home run hitter for Oakland this year, Mike Epstein, batted 26, and he hit one off Mickey Lolich in the playoffs. Curveball from Carroll is a little low, ball 1. Epstein's average was very good for a power hitter this year, 270. This is missing outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Mike Epstein, the batter. Sal Bando is on deck. It's 3-2 Oakland with 1 inning to go. Ball 3 to Mike. I think for a power hitter, Epstein probably takes more close pitches than any I have ever seen. He's very patient at that plate. There's ball 4. So the A's have a man on. The second batter that Carroll has won. And here is Sal Bando, who hit only .236 this year, but he had 15 home runs. And now making an appearance in his first World Series ever, as are most of the A's players, but this guy has got to be a surprise especially. The Panamanian Express, Alan Lewis, a 30-year-old speed burner who is a bench hitting, a bench running specialist. The A's brought him up from the minor leagues late in the season. He made 9 stolen base attempts, and he was successful on 8 of them. He stole 102 bases one year in the minor leagues in the A's farm system. Leading off first, he's on his way to second on the first pitch. Bench throws it down there. They're going to get him. Out at second. The Express is derailed by the cannon. Johnny Bench fired to second base for the second time in a ball game, right on target. So now there are 2 down. Now Bando has taken ball 1. Pitch to him. Swing and a foul. Strike 1. It's 1-1. Believers out of Campaneris who stole 52 bases, and Alan Lewis with the base stealing record he has. They are the 2 men he's thrown out. 1-1. 1. There's a slice foul by Bando down the right field line. Boy, Bush didn't wait very long to touch him. He went on the very first pitch. There's been 4 attempted steals at second base. Everybody writing about the great stolen base artists on these two clubs, and nobody's made it yet in the game. 1-2 pitch curveball hanging outside. Monty being the Oakland broadcast as you are, I know you'll talk to Alvin Lewis. Ask him how he felt about getting his footing on that artificial turf, which is something you do in no other ballpark in the world. 2-2 to Bando. The pitch of the curve bounced foul. Yeah, Jim, it was interesting to me to watch. Now, Allen ordinarily takes a much bigger lead off first base than Campaneris does. This time, he did not go beyond the dirt part to get out there on that rudge. It will be interesting to find out to him if he cut his lead down because he was afraid of the footing off of that. 2-2 pitch. Bando takes outside a very close fastball at 3-2. He takes the bad one, strike 3 swinging. Carroll puts a big bender off to the outside part of the plate. We go to the last half of the 9th inning, and it's 2-0 for Cincinnati. Oakland 3, Cincinnati 2. More than an evening to more than candlelight and smoke, more than just
Chipperillo, regular, menthol, and aromatic.
At Rhodes we have got a lot to share, and we care about the people who shop here. We'll give you good reason to stop here. Just think of Rhodes as your soul.
Exclusively at Rhodes, the name collar. This battery-operated automatic telephone collar instantly dials any of 38 numbers you most often call. Convenient, accurate, perfect for home or office. And at Rhodes, downtown and Gateway.
Back in Cincinnati, Game 1, 1972 World Series. Jim Simpson with Monty Moore. It's the 7, 8, and 9 batters due up. Geronimo will not come up, the left-handed swinger. Instead, it will be the right-handed swinger, Hal McRae. Will go against Vida Blue. 3-2 to score. Vida Blue trying to nail down this number 1 victory for underdog Oakland over Cincinnati. In the best of 7 series, McRae steps in a right-handed swinger against the left-hander Vida Blue. Last of the 9th, and here's Monty. Okay, Jim, McRae's a 278 hitter on the way. Here's Vida Blue's first pitch, and it is in there for a called strike. The A's made a defensive change at first base. Epstein went out for the bench runner, and Mike Keegan, one of the classiest fielding first basemen in the game, is over at that corner. Vida's pitch, swing and a foul back, and did McRae take a rip at that one? Hal McRae got into 61 games for Cincinnati. He hit 5 home runs. And he tried to hit that last one out. Vida hit on it at 0-2. Throws the curve, hit on the ground, left field, base hit. The Reds have the tying runner on as Vida Blue hung a curveball and a no-ball, 2 strikes out. Nowadays, Concepcion will stay in the game and back. Bench hitter Hal McRae sends the A's bullpen crew to work. Javier is out on deck. Concepcion, the batter. McRae, the runner at first. And Tommy Hull starts turning him in again. Now they're going to run for McRae. George Foster, who scored the winning run of the National League season, will go into pinch run. For McRae, a pinch hitter. Well, I'm sure Vida Blue will be second-guessing himself for throwing that hanging curveball on a 0-2 count. Guys can throw a ball that hard. Certainly did not want to hang a curve on that count. McRae made him pay for it. Now George Foster. Off first, the pitch is taken. It's outside. Ball 1. Foster has stolen 2 bases this year.
Ida Blue gets set. Here's a pitch. The ball is bunted out towards the mound. It'll be picked up by Sal Bando, the third baseman. He throws to Ted Kubiak, who's in the game at second for Oakland, or the fourth out there. And the second goes George Foster with the tying run. And here's William Javier coming on the pinch hit. 1967 and 68 with the Cardinals body. Javier against the Red Sox and then against the Tigers had sensational World Series. He hit .360 in 67 and was also the fielding hero and came back to hit .333 in 1968. He has been around before and is combined to 15 World Series games extending back earlier into the 64 series, a .346 average. And he's the man that Vida Blue must face right now. Dick Williams is out again. The situation is the A's lead 3-2 last of the night. Al McRae has run off with a single. Foster ran for it. And Concepcion has successfully sacrificed him down to second base. High run at second base. Javier, not a long ball hitter, but an excellent man in handling the bat. He's at the plate with all that World Series experience to face a well-known Vida Blue who was in his first series game. The enthusiasm of the crowd starts to swell. Here's Vida's first pitch. Javier takes a look at it. It costs him a strike. George Foster can take a big lead down off second base. The A's 3 runs, 4 hits and no errors. Cincinnati 2 runs, 7 hits and no errors. 1 out last half of the ninth inning. Oakland leading. The pitch, curveball, bounce foul. Vida got that curve down where he likes to throw the curve to the right-handed batter. And quickly he is in front of Javier at 0-2. With the infielders at short and second playing so deep, the runner at second can get a gigantic lead away from the bag. Vida's 0-2 pitch to Javier is on the way, and there's a fly ball foul going out of play. A well-played, very exciting first game of the 1972 World Series. And Marty, I'm sure that those who are keeping score with us are aware that double play is not a rarity, not an improbability, or probability rather, but with Foster down at second base, we're not looking double play since there's no force on any base, and that means that we can assume that the fellow that everybody in Cincinnati knows is Mr. Clutch, they call him Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose, will have a chance to at least tie this game up. And don't think the A's haven't thought of that too, but right now Vida Blue has one center of concentration. That's on the plate where Julian Javier is standing with an 0-2 count. Around comes the arm. Here's the pitch. Ground ball towards the second baseman. Ted Kubiak up with it. Throwing to first. He got him by just a stride. And over to third goes George Foster from where he scored on a wild pitch for the Reds to win the National League Championship. Now the crowd really starts to yell, and here comes Pete Rose. Dick Williams is going to the umpire behind the plate. Jim, I don't know what the rule is in a World Series. If a manager goes to the mound twice in one inning in the American League, the pitcher is automatically out of the game. I don't know what the rule is in a World Series, and that might be what Dick Williams is talking with Chris Pellichutis about, because as he crosses the foul line now, he goes to the mound. They have a right-hander, Bob Locker, and a left-hander, Dave Hamilton, in the bullpen. It won't make any difference to Rose, because he's going to just switch around if another man comes in. Well, again, when you're talking about won't make any difference to Rose, Pete is a 300-plus hitter from the right side as he is from the left side, Monty. His power comes from the left side. We've been saying he's a better hitter from the left side, but now here he is forced to bat from the right side. But as we said, we got to keep in mind he's also a 300 hitter there. And with Foster first over third base is the tying run, Pete doesn't need much except contact and a base hit anywhere, even in the infield. Dick Williams has brought his third baseman, Sal Bando, in shallow to protect against the bunt. Vida Blue pitch. He bunts at it and fouls it off, and that's exactly what Dick Williams was talking to Sal Bando about. Rose, if I recall, won a National League batting championship with a bunt base hit on the last day of the season one time. And even with 2 down, he was running for a base hit there. And Bando has just given a sign to his catcher, an underarm signal, which would indicate that if the ball's bunted to him, he's going to come to the plate instead of going to first base for the final out, maybe.
One strike to count on Rose. Ryder Blue winds. Here's a pitch. High bouncing ball on the infield. They're going to have to hurry. Kubiak has got it. Goes to first. He got him. And the Oakland A's have won the first game of the 1972 World Series. The final score of an exciting ball game. Oakland 3 and Cincinnati 2.
Chrysler Plymouth. You know, they're famous for their engineering. Constantly striving to build cars to run better and last longer than ever before. Like their big plush 73 Chrysler New Yorker. And this has been going on for a long time. Did you know the original Chrysler introduced a revolutionary high compression engine? And it was a Chrysler that adopted the idea of welding an automobile body and frame into a single solid unit of strength. And that was only the beginning. Now you get things like a standard electronic ignition system that's practically maintenance-free. You can even order an electronic digital clock if you want to. And there's an improved system of sound isolation for a new, quiet ride in a reclining seat. That's what they're talking about when they say extra care in engineering.
Chrysler New Yorker. Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference.
As this very quiet record crowd of 52,918 file out of here, quiet because most of them root for the Cincinnati Reds. They like to, before looking back, Monty, to how the ball game was won with the bat, pay tribute to someone that may not get a mention at all tomorrow in the papers, and that is Ted Kubiak, called on to play in the ninth inning. Never played in this infield before. The ground ball of Javier, which moved George Foster, the pinch runner, to third. Kubiak was playing out in short right field and had to charge in, and that was a close play, even though Julio does not have the great speed anymore. And this last hit of Pete Rose, and I'll tell you about the last hit. It was hit into the turf and up high. Kubiak had to race in, catch it just above his knees on the dead run, and then make the quick throw just to get Pete Rose. And you wonder what would have happened if Rose, who is Charlie Hustle, had been batting left-handed in this particular case instead of right-handed. Might have beat it out, probably would have been a tie ball game. But hats off to Ted Kubiak for his fine play. Now, as far as the game itself is concerned, winning pitcher is Holtzman, who worked the first 5 innings. Losing pitcher, Gary Nolan, who worked the first 6 innings. He lost the first game back in 1970, and his downfall in that game, solo home runs to Brooks Robinson, Brew Cowell, and Ellie Hendricks. His downfall today, home runs hit by Gene Tennis, who had won in the second inning with Hendricks on base ahead of him. He had walked, and then the winning run driven in as he hung a curve, and Tennis hit it out in the fifth. And so Gene Tennis, who took a lot of reps, said he couldn't sleep too much, won the ball game on Thursday for the American League Championship with his only hit of the playoff series. Went 2 for 3 today. His 2 home runs provided all of the runs to approach the winning run for the Oakland A's. For Cincinnati, it was nearly all Johnny Bench. He led off the second with a single, moved up on Perez's single. Menke walked the bases loaded, and when Concepcion grounded out, Bench scored the first run. In the fourth inning, Bench tied the game, drawing a walk. Perez singled again, and Johnny hustled all the way to third. And then when Menke bounced out, Bench scored the tying run. That, as we said, was in the fourth and set the stage for the one-out home run of Tennis in the fifth. From there on, it was all pitching, as the team used many relief pitchers. Bourbon did a good job for Cincinnati. Clay Kell in trouble with wildness of all things. Still, nevertheless, did a good job and did not allow a run. And Vida Blue, who pitched the final 4 innings to nail the American League Championship down on Thursday, pitched in the seventh to 2 men, walking one, getting the other on a foul out, and that was an important man. Bobby told him, the number 3 hitter. Got Bench, Perez, and Menke in the 8th inning. Gave up that hanging curve to Hal McRae, the pinch hitter, as Monty described it. He was sacrificed to second. He moved on to third on Javier's ground out, and there was a tying run over third base. But he got Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose, to ground to Kubiak, who made a fine play. And so we remember now that the team that has won the first game of a World Series in the previous 68, 40 times, has gone on to win the World Series. The underdog A's have won the first game here, 3-2. We'll continue with today's highlights, won by Oakland, right after this message.